back corner when I'm not presenting.
Listening in.
And listen in.
Hey everybody, welcome to Bass University Live here on Tuesday night.
Take a quick break, watch John Cruz's on the Tokyo rig.
Be a part of the show, get some chances to win some awesome prizes.
It's Bass You Go. You know, we didn't have that back then. Dude, it just...
That text thread gives me so much energy. I mean, like I'm dialed.
Hey everybody, welcome to Bass University Live. It's Tuesday night. It's great to have you guys hanging out with us. It's fall fishing season. I'm really, I've been out a lot. I hope you guys have been enjoying your fall fishing. I know a lot of people get back to hunting and different things this time of year, but man, I love fishing in the fall. And we've got a great show tonight. A couple of guys fresh off of tournaments in the fall. With some big accomplishments and some big announcements coming tonight on Bass University. But we're going to be talking about bass fishing tournament success tonight. And we've got some tournament champs coming on the show that really know how to get it done. And we've got some young rising stars from the NPFL that are winning tournaments, anglers of the year. And we've got some announcements, and we've got Patrick Walters coming on as well. So it's going to be a great show tonight. We're going to be talking about some pretty interesting patterns, some topwater fall patterns, and we've got Keith Carson, who's fresh off his NPFL Angler of the Year, and Taylor Watkins, who just won on Grand Lake at the NPFL. Of course, Patrick Walters, and we've got the guys that are running the show. Brad Fuller and our friend Paul Benson are going to be with us tonight, talking about what's going to be happening with that tournament trail and some exciting news, especially for us at Bass University. We look forward to sharing that with you here in just a little bit. And we've got with us from Georgia, our Georgia offices, we've got JK, Professional Fish Head. How are you tonight, buddy?
Oh man, I'm great. Psyched for the show tonight. You know, talking about some fishing consistency. We got Angler of the Years, winners, and more winners, and more Anglers of the Years. Yourself. I've got a special AOY themed pros panel for later in the evening that I cannot wait to share. We're going to have to rush to fit that in, though, because I know we got a lot to talk about. So I'm going to keep my words short. Hard for me.
I'm interested in hearing how you do that. That'll be a fascinating show tonight. But now I'm looking forward to talking to those guys. What a great seasons that they've had. I want to give a shout out to Jay Ellis, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and
wow.
Instructor at Bass University, a longtime friend of mine. Compete against him on the tournament trail, and it was great to see. Jay, congratulations. Well deserved. For all your great accomplishments out there. And
I'll never forget him catching that 5-pounder in the Classic up that river after that pontoon boat just washed him and washed his bank, and he jacked him on a jig. I'll never forget that.
That was great, and it was great. I was reading the Bass Blaster, and shout out to Kumar and the Blaster. Great read. And he talks about coming in under at the same time as KVD, and what a tough time to come into the sport. You know, you're coming in at the exact. You're tremendously talented angler, but man, you've got the greatest of all time. You know, tearing it up right there with you. But Jay, man, he held his own and won his class, won his AOY, or multiples. And, congrats to him. Is great to see. And, we're going to be doing some interesting stuff. Aquaview which we love. We love the AquaView products, its abilities to see underwater, and how our guys are using them to do well in tournaments. But Gray Buck is going to be out on the water tomorrow with Riz catching some AquaView content for Bass University. Riz, I'm excited for you, man. I can't wait to see what you guys are able to capture.
Yeah, me too, Pete. It's
Yeah,
always
me too, Pete.
It's always good to get out there with our guy Gray. He's a great instructor and a good friend. So I'm excited to see the AquaView content in action on a lake that he knows pretty well. So he feels good that we're going to be able to drop that camera down and really capture some fish movement. And the thing that I'm most excited about that, Pete, is that I want to see the attitude of different fish, how fish act in a brush pile, how fish act on a shallow laydown, how fish act on riprap, what the bait life looks like, and that's just one of the many cool things that you can get out of using an AquaView camera. So I'm stoked about it. Looks like it's going to be a good day to film. So we'll get out there and see what the AquaView has to offer.
Yeah, BTC, you want to go along? I bet you Gray's got room in the boat, man.
Yeah. Thanks for the offer, Pete. No, I'll be working, hammering nails and stuff. But, sounds like fun, Rich.
Yeah.
Keep grinding.
Maybe we'll have Rich FaceTime you while he's out there.
Yeah, just send me lots of pics. I love them while I'm working. Especially a lot of big bass,
Come on, man. Call somebody else to hammer those nails. Get out there and check it out with the boys tomorrow.
Where are you guys going?
Beltsville Lake. It's up in PA. So deep,
like
clear,
and not in New Jersey.
It's not in New Jersey. Yep.
That's a big plus.
Yeah. Well, it's actually, we were really shooting for this, and we couldn't get the details worked out, but we wanted to try to get up to Lake Ontario this time of year, and we've all been up there in recent times, and it's just such an amazing fishery. But the smallies stack up, and the largemouth apparently do too in the deep water up on the Great Lakes, and that's got to be a future trip. It's got to be.
What details couldn't we get worked out?
It's travel time and
checkbook,
and we need to get the right. We didn't have enough guys to hammer the nails up there at Lake Ontario. We needed more videography up there this week, and all of our guys are scheduled elsewhere. So we're gonna take a rain check on that. But the big problem with going up there, of course, the wind blows and you're shut down. But
that's true.
This time of year, that's going to happen. But we look forward to seeing what you guys get up there tomorrow, Riz and Gray. Thanks for doing some Bass University stuff with us, and thank you, AquaView. And I know we've got a lot of other great stuff going on tonight's show, Riz. So why don't you take us down? What can guys win tonight? Yeah,
as always, we're going to be taking some questions from our guys on the subscriber board. Some of those questions will be receiving $25 gift cards to Gill's Gear. Our good folks over at Gill's Gear always got new lines of clothes coming out, so be sure to check them out at gillsgear.com. And also, for a grand prize for tonight's show, we're going to be giving out a Bass University prize pack that I have here in front of me. It's got all kinds of good stuff in it. Camouflage hat, some tackle, some worms, all kinds of good stuff. It's about a $100 prize pack. So that's going to be going out for a Bass University subscriber at the end of the show. And we'll also be doing a Facebook like and share as well. So if you're over there watching, like and share tonight's feed, and you'll be entered in for a chance to win as well. But if you've been on the fence about getting signed up for the program, right now is a great time to do it. Only $35 gets you 3 months to the Bass University, unlimited access, over 900 videos, and a $25 shopping spree to Tackle Warehouse. So, guys, it's a great time. Get signed up. Take your bass fishing to the next level with the Bass University.
Outstanding. And, guys, don't forget to go over and check out what we've got going on Bass University. We've got amazing deals, especially for all you hunters. Man, it's 40% off Flambeau products over on our pro member benefits for all the subscribers to Bass U TV. We work hard to get these great deals for all you guys. So make sure you go take advantage of them over on the website on the pro member offer section. And if you haven't subscribed, go get subscribed tonight. We've got an amazing 3-month, $35 deal going on, and we throw in a Tackle Warehouse $25 shopping spree along with that subscription to come and check it out. It's a really cool package. A lot of guys are taking advantage of it and coming over to Bash University TV. So go check that out. Go over to Pro Members offers and get all the discounts for all of our members. And we've got a lot of great stuff coming on Bash University. And just, some of the things that we got coming up. One of the things I like, we've got George Cochran, my favorite lures. When he retired from bass fishing, we had him at Bash University TV, and he gave up all the goods on all the baits that he won all of his money on over the years. BTC, what do you think one of his number one baits was?
Oh God, he was pre-Senko, so don't even try it.
Guess again, Junior.
What?
Yep.
No.
But he flies in the face of the dean with how my black color of choice for the Senko is key. Orange.
What?
The orange Senko.
Orange.
Is like nobody throws it, nobody wants it, nobody buys it, nobody sells it. And it's like for him, it was candy all over the tournament trail and won tons and tons of money on it.
Yeah, when?
Well, I don't know. He stepped down maybe 7 years ago, 5 years ago?
Longer than that, Pete.
Yeah, when did he
Was
stop
it been
winning?
longer than
though?
that?
Yeah. It's about 8 or 9.
I don't think you can get away with an orange Senko these days.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
they still eat that morning dawn colored worm. They eat the fire out of that thing.
All
so,
right, Pete, put
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
I want to see what an orange Senko.
No,
I
I
think-
think believe me, after I watched the seminar, I went and got them, and I throw them from time to time. But that's great
like-
stuff.
A matte orange too. It's not like a translucent like the morning dawn style metallics.
Huh.
And it's not like the sun's gonna shine through it, right? You're talking about like a creamsicle colored orange.
Yeah, it's got a little translucency to it. The
Okay.
colors that I found, but it's not a real popular color. But I have thrown it. I've caught fish with it, and I can't say that it's in my top choices. But God, the fish aren't seeing it. You know that
Right.
much.
that's half
And,
the battle sometimes.
I wonder if that's
Yep.
an Arkansas thing or something.
What does it look like when you put a bait that color underwater? Like a lot of times baits, they don't look exactly like the color they are when they go under the water. What's it reflect as?
It has what it has is a great visibility. That's what I noticed about it. Like
Right.
you could really see it. It glows and shines. So that might be, I don't know, that might be the key. George also says one of the biggest things that take into account is fishing pressure.
Yes.
And that's maybe why he chooses a color like that fish aren't seeing. I don't know. He's the man, dude. I'm telling you, he's won multiple classics.
Yeah.
He's
very
won
good
FLW
seminar.
championship. He's the real deal, man. And I love the old school stuff because you know how it is. Guys forget about it. They move on to the new, bluegill styled crack, whatever. And the stuff that's working that people just forget about. And George has made a fortune.
You want to know what one of my co-angler, what he caught him on the other day outside of me teaching him how to do a drop shot? He caught 2 on a rooster tail. And then
Nice.
Keepers?
Yeah. Heck yeah, he caught keepers. I'm not around non-keepers. Come on, Riz.
I don't know what the bag limits are. I don't know if it's like 15
I'm
or
kidding,
12.
bro.
or-
I'm just messing. No,
Okay,
yeah, he
that's
caught
awesome.
keepers at like 14 inches. He caught those 2 on a rooster tail, and then the rest he made the second day and got a top 10. But everything else came on a drop shot. But he brought that old school rooster tail, like half ounce, man.
Oh,
just
half
slinging
ounce.
it with bait caster, slinging it
On
man.
a bait
Just-
caster?
Yeah, on a bait caster,
Oh,
15-pound
awesome.
test, just winding them in, dude.
15.
Dude, that is freaking awesome, actually. Just slinging out a
I'm
half-ounce
looking
piece
back
of
at
lead.
him like, dude, you only brought 1 spinning rod to Lake Lanier. Like, I'm having my own moment when Ike got onto me for only bringing 1 spinning reel, and I'm doing it to this guy, and he's back there just boat flipping them in. He caught the first fish of the day with a rooster tail.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. Ike keeps those in his box. Ike's panic box has rooster tails in it. You know, I carry spinners, you know, in the boat for just such an emergency. But man, that's pretty cool.
Them things are
coming out of the gate with it.
It reminded me of your old school lures class. You did an old school lures class like 6 or 7 years ago, and you did the Snagless Sally was in that one. And I'll never forget that seminar. I actually really liked that seminar.
You guys remember we were on a tight timeline tonight?
Yeah, let's go. I'm sorry.
All right. I didn't know what was going on.
Thanks for keeping us in line.
Yeah, I mean, we got 6 guests coming up. Let's talk about
we've got some important. Yeah. Yeah. Watch Keith. That's going to be Keith's key to AOY. Orange Senko.
I'll end the show. I got the button right here. All right, Pete. We're going to hit a commercial. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
We will be right back. Keith Carson, Taylor Watkins, Patrick Walters, secret announcement. Brad Fuller and Paul Benson.
That's right.
All coming on tonight right after this.
Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love catching fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick. Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
We're different. Some would say obsessed. There's no place on earth we'd rather be than right here, right now. Performance-driven gear, so you can fish longer, harder. Gill's Performance Fishing.
2021 Red Crest champion Dustin Connell here, and if you watch live coverage, we just got done at Lake Eufaula. I caught my fish using the active target with Lowrance. What you didn't see is I run a Sea Clear power harness in my boat. One of the main advantages of running this harness is it does not drain my batteries down at all running my 4 units. And what that's going to allow me to do is I'm able to see my bait at 8 a.m. just as good late in the day. Y'all check them out at seaclearpower.com.
And we're back. Hey, I just want to apologize to everybody that had to listen to that commercial twice. We had a double block of that commercial. So, anyhow.
Who was that commercial?
I don't know. It was everybody all at the same time.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Bass University Live. What a cool show. We've got a lot of great stuff going on tonight, and we're showcasing some big-time winners. Winners at the new league this year, the NPFL, the National Professional Fishing League. It's been a great success. We've had John Sokup on a couple times in a couple different programs with Bass University, who won twice there this year and just did an amazing job teaching us about sonar. And we've got a friend of ours that has done really well this year. And one of our guys, JK, picked him for AOY. And sure enough, professional fish head, you got it right. And we've got the angler of the year for the NPFL this year, Keith Carson. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, thrilled to be here.
Man, it's great to have you. We've done some stuff with you, and I love this about you and your buddy John Cox. You guys have such a great attitude. It's like you're talking to the same person a lot of times. Yeah,
man. Yeah, thanks so much. I'm a big believer that the whole power of positivity. As cliche as it is, or whatever. I'm a big believer. That positivity is the key to success, because when you're out there in the boat by yourself, those negative thoughts, they're creeping in, and they're affecting everyone in the field. When weather changes and crazy things happen, and you just got to stay positive, and it really is the key.
It's so true. I call it the demons. The demons start creeping in, and you start going to the dark side when you're not getting bites, or things aren't going your way, and it can be easy to get turned and go to the dark side. I know Gerald's famous for this. He's got a positive mental attitude. The wristband he uses to keep them squared away. Do you have any techniques like that, or does it just come natural for you?
Well, yeah. So, most of it actually doesn't come natural. It's very hard. I work on it constantly, and it's for me, it's like a mental awareness, because those negative thoughts creep in constantly and daily, and inside and outside of fishing, and just daily life as well. But it's just one of those things where when I recognize that I'm in a bad thought pattern, I just stop myself right there and just say, hey, don't think like that. Whatever I tell myself. Maybe yell, cuss at myself or something, and like, okay, let's get positive again. But somebody threw a rock in my boat, like maybe a year or two ago, and I've left it in there, and I have no clue where it came from. And it's like this beautiful looking rock with like nice rounded corners, like maybe it was like at the bottom of a riverbed from, like, I picture it being from like Colorado or Montana or something. No clue where it came from, never taken it out, and it's in there. So that could be part of it too. So
a little good luck charm action, man. I didn't know that was in there. When we saw you at the Classic, I would have gone over and like rubbed on it, try to get a little mojo off of that thing.
Yeah, maybe you'd add some luck to it with all the awards behind you there.
Hey, well,
you're awesome.
The AOY is a huge one. That's a huge honor at any tournament trail, and what a great accomplishment this year. I mean, it was spectacular to see. You got to be thrilled.
Oh man, I can't believe it. It's the AOY. It's been my biggest goal through all of my career fishing. Whether I was fishing teen anglers or local team stuff with John Cox. And then when I began to branch out on my own, fishing ABAs, BFLs, things like that, it's always a goal. And the funny thing about it is you can never focus on it. Like you can't start off your year saying, I'm going to get AOY. Because if you do that, then you'll never win. It's one of those things where you have to focus on the second and the moment of fishing the day in that tournament. And if you can execute that day properly, then maybe at the end of the year, you'll win it if you're lucky, if you can beat the other guys. It's such a difficult award to accomplish. And it's so hard to wrap your head around how that works, and those split second decisions that are the correct ones can add up to that Angler of the Year award. It blows my mind, how it all works out and stuff.
It is so mental. Like we talked the theme of tonight's show is tournament success. And, a lot of times guys get wrapped up in, the lures, the techniques, and they're super important, obviously. But man, what's going on between the ears is as important as anything, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say what's going on between your ears is more important than baits and techniques, because, it's easy to get wrapped up into like maybe what other guys are doing, maybe how other people are catching. And, let's say like you go to a lake that I'm not so familiar with, and there's local guys who are known for being really good on that lake. They might fish a way that I've never even fished before. And it's like, I have this whole theory, like if there's a technique that I'm not familiar with, the time to learn it is not during a professional event, right? So like, you don't want to be like, oh, that's how he does it, let me go figure this out in 3 days of practice. No. Like, that is not the time to do it, so you stick with your strengths and do the best you can. And hey, and then, maybe you'll catch him. Maybe you won't win, maybe he will, but if you could do good enough to get top 10 or whatever it may be, just hang in there,
Yeah. Stick to your strengths, boy. Those are words
Yeah.
that echo in my head over and over. And JK, what did you see in Keith? Like early, what did you see in him that said, you know what, this guy could win Angler of the Year?
Man, great question. So we knew that he, came up fishing with John, but man, we saw him win. He won at the Bassmaster Open last year, and he'd won at other levels around the house, and we knew that. And I kind of assumed, I've gotten to know Keith a little bit since, and I think he has a few things going on that even his buddy John Cox doesn't have that are considered strengths. But for the most part, they're kind of similar. And not stubborn, but stubborn in a good way, I guess. That I knew that he would go out there and just be Keith,
Right.
and not trying to do so much research. Oh man, I got to figure out the jerk bait. We're going over to the Ozarks now. I got to go do this now. And he didn't fish outside of himself. I didn't think he would. And quite honestly, at the time, I didn't know much about all the other guys. So Keith was more of a comfort pick, man. Like, I knew who John Sokup was, but John was still new to me. And I knew maybe about 10 of the other guys, to be fair, just local hammers in their region. The NPFL sported a lot of those guys who were hammers around the house, if you will. That regional guys would know their names in the region, but guys in across the country wouldn't necessarily, but they're learning them. And you are one of them, Keith, and now you're a really well-known guy out there, and that's not what you're fishing for. Like, the thing I love about Keith is, man, he just wins the next derby. I want to go win the next derby. And
that's it.
Thanks, man.
Well,
so
thanks.
I just wanted to chime in, Justin, real quick.
Okay.
I actually had my doubts about Keith winning AOY because I got to fish with him in Florida and the ICAST Cup, and we would have won, but he lost a big one in that event.
Yeah.
Well, at least you guys had a ICAST Cup, because I fished with him and it sucked.
Yeah. We didn't get to practice, so we were winging it because I was coming back from pick. So the one that I fished with Brian and John Cox, and we fished with Shyrock, I think, Hunter.
Yeah.
And so like I had been practicing offshore. I try to strengthen my offshore game, and John really doesn't, to be honest. John's just like, nah, and I'm like, look, man, I think there's something to it. Maybe we should go deeper than a foot or two. And so all summer I went out offshore Toho, and I was like, I'm going to learn, this, 5 to 8 foot range. And I figured it out. Like I found these fish on offshore Toho. I could catch like 25 pounds over and over. Like I could catch 10 or 15 over 5 pounds. And it was unreal. And I kept telling John, I was like, hey, we got this ICAST thing. I was like, I'm on them, man. Offshore, it's really good. And he's like, nah, man, that's stupid. And I'm like, no, it's like, it is. And he's like, let's just go fish right by the ramp, blah, blah, blah. So we did. So we fished by the ramp, and I kept telling him, hey, let's go out there. So, tournament only lasts 4 hours long. So with like an hour to go, we go offshore and we catch a couple. And like with, in a few minutes, I hook one like 5 and lose it. And we're like, dang it. And then the whole day, John's like, we should have been out there the whole time. And I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, you caught one real big one and lost another big one.
Yeah. In like what? In like 20, 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, because we didn't have much time out there.
Right. Yeah.
And then John,
maybe you should just keep John on the bank, because they put a crankbait in his hand and then he immediately wins everything with the crankbait. If we give him the offshore stuff, I don't know how anybody's going to win anything ever again,
Never. I know. He's an animal. He's an inspiration to myself and everyone else, I'd say, too.
Yeah, he doesn't need any more tools for sure. I'd like to ask a question real quick. So, you get to look at the season as a whole now. When you're fishing the season, you're never looking at it as a whole. Yeah, your goal's Angler of the Year, but you make that your goal by every day you fish, focusing on the day, on each event. Now, looking back, we know that there is no title won, whether it's over the course of a weekend or a season. there's no title won without adversity, some sort of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
What was the biggest moment of adversity, the single biggest moment of adversity that you had to get through? Which tournament, what day, what did you have to overcome the most to get to this, now AOY, title?
So for me, that would have been Lake Pickwick, our fourth stop. I fished Pickwick. I've been there quite a few times, know it fairly well. The current was just off. It was just off. Like, and I couldn't figure it out. And without being, a local or having enough knowledge of how to catch them, I was like, there's this place called Bay Springs. I've never been there. Don't know anything about it. But let me go check it out. So I go check it out, and I could get some bites. It wasn't anything fantastic, but I felt like I could get a check there. And I did. I squeaked to check. I got 29th. They paid 36 places. But it was so difficult. I was up shallow. I was beating the bank. Day one was okay. And then days 2 and 3 got worse and worse. And I was only catching like 1 or 2 keepers by like 1 or 2 o'clock. And then as I would just run back, there's like this long canal that connects Bay Springs and Pickwick. And I would stop and I'd fish these little drains and stuff. And, like I was just making the right calls. Like I pulled up to this one drain, and in back-to-back casts on the Fritz side 5, I caught a smallmouth, a spot, and a largemouth, all keepers, back to back to back. Finished my limit, only had 2 fish, with like minutes to go. And then, ran all the way back, and like just these quick decisions that pulled through for me. Without that, I would have never won. That was huge. And then staying focused too. That's that adversity. That you keep in my mind, and trying to push those negative thoughts to the side. All that stuff. That was a long run there from Bay Springs. One of the days I ended up being 2 minutes late, and then got a 2-pound penalty. And so that cost me 9 points. So that was in the back of my head going into events 5 and 6. I'm just like, oh, this is going to cost me AOY.
That cost you, places in the standings?
Yeah. Just lost track of where I was in that long, big canal,
Well, it's like 200 miles to Bay Springs from the launch ramp, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. What your boat runs top end speed? What are you running?
It's running 57.
Okay.
So not bad. Yeah. Not.
Well, it's great
not
speed. It's great speed for that boat, but man, that's a 70-mile boat ride. I imagine it's at least that much,
Yeah, I think it's more than that. And I actually had to get gas. I only have a 40-gallon tank, so I would run, and then I was fishing like the mid to upper part of Bay Springs, and the only gas station's way down by the dam. So like I'd fish my stuff, and then I'd have to run down and get gas. So like I was, taking 30 minutes just to get gas each day. Like there was so much wasted time, and that's not like me. I don't like to make long runs without knowing, that I'm on something really good. But hey, it was all I had, and it salvaged the tournament and got a check. And like that was huge for me to, as dumb as that sounds, but just squeaking a check there. That was just a big win for me doing that.
Man, you talked about your strengths. And tell me about your strengths. What would you say are your fishing strengths that led you to Angler of the Year?
Oh wow, geez, I'd say Fritz side 5 crankbait. That's a good strength of mine. Swim jig's a great strength of mine. I like throwing the Berkeley wind up, reeling that worm weightless or with a small weight. That's pretty good. Another strength that I realized this year is boat positioning. Just, I've gotten really good at like putting the boat where it needs to be to make the cast that needs to be made to produce a bite, and knowing like where not to put the boat. That might be one of the biggest things of all, is just boat positioning, especially when you're in a foot of water. You got to think about that too, like, with the wind and everything. And I'm a big believer in always making things more difficult on yourself. We live in an age right now where, you got forward facing sonar, you got all this stuff. You got spot lock, and I won't do that. I run a Fortrex. I don't do spot lock. I think this is gonna sound crazy. I think it can make you weaker, and I want to be as strong as I possibly can. So I won't do spot lock. I won't do any of that. But I'm also not an offshore guy. So, that's something that needs to be noted. I don't go out, and fish out in the middle of the lake. So if I did, I would have spot lock,
Yeah.
But, I'm a big believer, hey, like if you can't cast a bait caster, there's reels with chips in them, so you don't backlash, stay away from that kind of stuff. I still get backlashes all the time, and they drive me crazy, and I pick them out, and I tell myself as I'm picking them out, like, all right, got to get better, but stuff like that.
Keith, you should bring that, come to Jersey if you want to be tough on yourself.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah.
Fishing's just always tough.
Yeah. Well, part of that too is like, I like grinder tournaments, Red River, those tough stuff. I love that. I thrive on those, Lay Lake, just difficult tournaments. That stuff. I like that kind of stuff.
I fished a little tournament on Sunday, and 4 bass were caught in the whole event.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I did not like that.
How was your mental attitude? Yeah.
Hey, well, you caught one of them, BTC.
Well, I figured if I'm not going to catch nothing, I might as well throw stuff I never throw. So I started messing around with all the swim baits that I bought and I haven't thrown yet. And I got a bite.
Did you win big fish?
Nah. No, but I
That's
caught
a big one.
Got third with it. So.
Yep.
Wow.
It requires a lot of mental toughness to be able to endure those. And we fish winter leagues up here that's the same deal where you just get a couple of bites. But the same thing applies. The big tournaments, I mean, the grinders, man, the pressure's mounting, the clock's ticking, and man, it requires a lot. But back to your strength though, you talk about boat positioning. Do you use a lot of push poling? Do you get off the trolling motor? How do you operate in the shallow water?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't use any push poles. The only time I'll get the push pole out is if I'm bed fishing, and I really need to be like stealth like and quiet. But that's pretty rare. I do use the power poles. Those are great. When you need to sit, use those all the time. But no, I always stay on the trolling motor. And so one of the great things about running an aluminum boat is it drifts a lot, and most people see that as a negative. I see it as a huge positive. And the reason is you figure out the wind and which way it's going, try to get the wind at your back. And then it just kind of blows you into the areas you want to fish. And so there's many times I'm not even touching my trolling motor. And that thing is like stealth-like. It floats in like no water, so it's like, the draft of a boat affects the displacement of the water, and the fish can feel that. I believe this is just my own theory. I think, if you've got a boat that drafts in less water, it's going to displace less, and the fish are not going to know you're there. And then if you can use the wind at your back, and just be smart, you can sneak up on them. And even if I only get one more bite a day or one more bite a week, it's like, hey, that's one more bite a week, and that might be a big one for all I know. So, I do stay on the trolling motor a lot, and, or I'll do something where like I turn the trolling motor up really high, and then I get on it, and then I get the boat moving. And as I approach what I want to be fishing, whether it be like a dock or some rocks or a lay down or something, then I just drift up to it. I'm not even on the trolling motor. It's all stealth like is how I describe it.
Wow, that's great stuff, man. It's stealth is so key. And Livesey gives a seminar about stealth fishing. That's going to be launched at Bass U TV here real soon. Those are great techniques, man. I love that stuff. I've used a lot of drift too, and it can be so powerful. But that boat drafting so little water, man, that is a huge advantage in some situations if you know how to use it. Yeah, exactly. If you know how to use it, it's a huge advantage. Yeah,
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's I don't know if I'll ever go fiberglass. Who knows? Maybe I will, but who knows?
I loved when you were at the Classic. You laid down on the up by the trolling motor, and you were like, it's like 6 feet across. It's like it's a huge, comfortable platform to fish out of that crest line. It's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, it really is, and it's so wide. That's what makes it. That's what makes it drafting like nothing.
Yeah,
because it's almost like a big flat bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure. Riz, we got some IMs for Keith.
We sure do, Pete. The first question that I'm going to go with is going to be from Ken Pruitt, and Ken Pruitt's going to win himself a $25 Gills Gear gift card for this question.
Woo!
And Ken's question is, if you could only fish three lures all year round across the country, which ones would you pick and why?
Yeah, so definitely the Fritz Side 5. That bait is just it's a limit getter. One lay lake on it. Just you could throw it anywhere. Lay downs, rocks, whatever. That's a great one. The swim jig is amazing. You can use the same swim jig. So you got a ½ ounce. You could put a meaty chunk on it, swim it in 6 inches, or you could put like put a power swimmer on the back of it and let it get down to 6-7 feet. It's real versatile. And then the Berkeley wind-up's an awesome bait. You can bed fish with it. You can Texas rig it, Carolina rig it. Those are the 3 baits I'd pick.
Good baits. The Fritz Side is, man, that's won so much money this year. What a great weapon. I know JK, you like that bait too.
Oh gosh, yeah. I love it. I wish I'd won as much money as Keith Carson and John Cox had. I knew about that cranking deal before they did, like you were alluding to John learning the crankbait. Well, guess who else was on that trip? Keith. They both acquired it that day.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they both go win on it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that still blows my mind, that whole, that's crazy.
But it's a great bait, man. It's a great bait, and if you want to know what color to throw, just go see which one's sold out all the time.
Yeah, I can't get them either. Dang it. Yeah.
I'm glad I stocked up on them. Maybe I should sell like $40 a piece.
I bet you could.
Yeah.
What's the color?
Ghost Morning Dawn.
Yeah. Oh man, no, that ain't it.
I gotta give goods, man. This is Bass University.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Are you trying to give the disinformation out there, Keith? Come on.
No, man. I'm just
that was the orange Senko guy.
Hey, and that red one both red ones are really good. And then the Lone Ranger is also good. It's kind of like Chartreuse Black, which they make too, but it's got like this little silver back or something. I don't know what the deal is with it, but they like it. And I think it might be a little more faded chartreuse, actually. And that's what John won Sam Rayburn on, was the Lone Ranger one. So if you're going to get 3, get Ghost Morning Dawn, get Lone Ranger, and get a Candy Apple Red or a Special Red Crawl, and you're set with the colors for that Fritz Side. And they catch them. Mike Reed won a tournament in Texas on the red one, caught an 8.5 pounder on it this year.
What month?
Big ones. I always used the flat side when I was in trouble and I needed to catch a fish in a really tough time, post-spawn, fall transition, dead of winter. And I would fill out limits with them, but I never, ever viewed it as a big fish bait. But that Fritz Side has changed my tune, man. That thing will catch donkeys.
Big ones. Donkey. Yeah. Like I got big bass at Lay Lake in the open, and I think it was like a 7.3 or something. And I remember talking to Brad Rutherford, he's the dude from Berkeley, cool guy. And he's like, "What'd you catch on?" And I'm like, "Fritz Side, man." And he's like, "Nah, come on, that little." And I'm like, "I'm serious." And he's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it gets big ones." And it's just a little crankbait. And I don't know, it must be the action, the wobble. I mean, hey, David Fritz designed it. What, you might as well throw it,
Yeah. Yeah, he knows a little something about crankbaits, but
yeah. But
hey, man, that's you won AOY, and we talked about the mental side of things, but there's so much that goes into it, man. You beat a guy out that didn't make it back to the weigh-in. There's so much that goes into it. What happened in that scenario?
So, I really haven't talked to him a whole lot. I talked to him some after weigh-in, but from what I've heard through other people, like apparently he was running back to the weigh-in. We had some bad rainstorms that final day, day 3. There was a rainstorm. He stopped to grab his face mask, to put a face mask on and to run through the storm, and went to start his motor and it wouldn't start. And that was it. And then people ran to check in. I would assume he was running to check in based on like how it sounds from the story. Other guys ran to check in. And then I believe our tournament director, Brad, told some other guys, hey, this dude, Brandon Perkins is out there stuck dead in the water. Go get him now, get his fish, get back. And when he got back, he was 11 minutes late. That final day of fishing was really difficult. I think he had 3 fish. I had 4 fish. It was, hey, did I lose you?
You're back. No, you're back.
Hey, okay. He had 3 fish, and then it just, the way the rules work, it's a 1 pound penalty per minute. Yeah. And being 11 minutes late, he had an 11 pound penalty. He had less than that. And I feel terrible for him because, I remember when I was 2 minutes late at Pickwick, just that sickness, like it's 2 minutes, and his was 11. His was just worse. But, Brandon he's an awesome angler, great guy. That's the rules. Got to be in on time. So,
Yeah, heck of a year he had.
Yeah. Yep.
They don't have that in the standings. You never see that, and that's such an important part of fishing because we all suffer a breakdown. We all get caught up on a sandbar. Something. Your gremlin gets in your boat the night before the tournament and gnaws on all your wires, and you lose your sonar. There's so much through the course of a year that you have to overcome to be able to sit in your seat, and you were able to do that, and that's not seen in the standings,
Right. Yeah. No, that's it. I mean, just it was unfortunate too for him, I think to break down at the time he did, had it been like, hours earlier, probably could have got someone to get his fish and get him in, it's just bad timing. It's the way it goes. So yeah, that's fishing.
And the winner, man. Winner.
Yeah.
You got it done. You made it back in with a 2, and you had a 2 pound penalty and you still won the AOI. So
well, and that was going back to that negative talk on that final day. I had been telling myself all day as I was fishing, I couldn't catch my limit. I had 4 fish, and all day I just kept saying, I hope to God Brandon beats me by more than 9 points, because that was my penalty amount. Right. That's what that 2 pound penalty added up to. And I was like, I hope to God he beats me by 10 or more, because if not, then that's really going to haunt me, and then just, and then he was late. So it's like, geez, it's like, it's just crazy.
Man, well, it was a great deal. I think BTC, do you want to take another IM and we will bring on our next guest to hang out with Keith? Are we ready for that?
Yeah, I actually have a question for Keith.
What do you got?
Somebody wants me to ask you about the tarantulas in Oklahoma.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is freaking crazy. So, did you guys know we have tarantulas in the United States?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
I had no
at the pet store.
Clue. Yeah, that's what I thought.
House probably did not.
Yeah, so I stayed with Landon Tucker and Jeff Barth here at Oklahoma. And we're in the house, and we had an Airbnb. And Jeff, he was a firefighter, so he like cooks every night. He's like an awesome cook and stuff. A great asset to stay with. So he's cooking, and so he's cooking. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go check, make sure my batteries are charging, see where they're at. And I walk out the door, and I see something crawling through the grass. I'm like, damn, that's like a rat or something big. And I get closer and closer, and it like shuffles and stops and like looks at me. Oh. And then I get closer and turn the light on, and damn tarantula.
Wow.
And I run in, and I'm like, guys, check this out. There's a tarantula. And they're like, no, those are only in Brazil. Right. And I'm like, well, maybe it was somebody's pet. maybe somebody, it got out, I don't know, but check it out. And so like, we were like filming it and stuff. And the thing, I don't know how big it was. It was probably like maybe weighed a couple pounds or something. I don't know. Yeah. But they're real. Yeah. We looked them up and like I researched them for a while. I was so interested. Come to find out, female tarantulas live for 40 years.
What?
40 years. Yeah. And they actually think it could be longer, but no one studied them that long because it's, like there's so much crazy stats. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it went, if it stopped what it was doing to look at me, I think I would have just had a heart attack right there.
Yeah. Jeff was like, if that thing touches my leg, I'm cutting my leg off.
Yeah. We were down at El Salto, and that was you walk out the door, and I was greeted by a tarantula every morning on the porch down there.
Oh
wow.
No.
And there's so many down there. They're under your bed, they're under your pillow, they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was worth it. But it was worth it.
It was worth it. That's what makes the bass so big down there, maybe.
Well, yeah, that's what Landon was saying, because there's the lunker hunt
right.
Frog, or not frog, the lunker hunt spider out there.
Turtle.
Yeah.
Did he break that out after that? Did he break that out at Grand?
No, he didn't, but I was like, man, we probably should maybe catch a big bass for the tournament on that thing.
Yeah, that's all.
That question came from
that
that came from Landon, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a good question.
That's right.
Well, what do you got coming up? Do you have any tournaments left on your schedule, or what you got left?
Yeah, so we've got the last tournament of the year is going to be Nickajack. It's the NPFL's championship, and it's only 25 guys. So this is awesome. I'm excited. I'm already being reminded of when John Cox and I fished our John boat tournament days, and there was like 25 boats, and it's just I'm loving it. 25 guys. It's just going to be just so much fun. We're going on a lake. What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got excited. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was just wondering, what was it like fishing with Teen Cox?
Oh, it was amazing, man. We had so much fun. Both of us are from non-fishing families. No one in my family fishes. No one in his family fishes. And we grew up 2 streets apart. Met down at Gemini Springs as kids, and his mom would drive us to the boat ramp with the John boat and stuff, before we could drive. And we just had so much fun. And he's just, he's an animal. The decisions he makes on the water and seeing that is, blows my mind. Even at a young age, he was like a natural. So, we had a great time.
25 boat championship.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
mm-hmm.
So we got Nickajack in a couple weeks. What? I mean, I'm thinking about Tennessee. It's a Tennessee River lake, right?
Right. Yeah. It's just below Chickamauga. I'll just say Chick. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
got
to figure what is that going to be, a topwater tournament? Lake.
Well, I hope so. Yeah. So it could be topwater. It could be could be flipping. Could be. Hey, it might be something else. Might not be any of that. So, there's I've never been on Nickajack. From what I understand, there's some grass in it. There's some rocks in it. There's laydowns. We've got a lot of current. It's got a little bit of everything. I think, I wouldn't be surprised to see many different patterns of, let's say the top 5 or top 10, to see guys catching them in multiple different ways. And catching big ones too, from what I hear. There's some giants in there.
Yeah, well, it's it might be crankbait season.
That's kind of
down there too.
Yeah, that's that old might have to get out that Fritz side. So.
Well, apparently you can't find any of the good colors, so you should be ahead of the field there. Yeah.
Well, I think Justin's got a couple. I might have to scrounge up $40 for one or two. $40. So.
50 for the new junior size in the fall.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, there's a junior,
hey man,
huh?
I raise a little money, so
Yeah, that's right. Man, I'm excited to have you on NPFL next year.
What?
I don't know.
Breaking news.
Oh wait. Oh, is it?
Don't you know, in this organization we don't actually announce anything. We just promote announcements and then don't announce. Starts from the top.
Yeah.
But hold that thought.
Okay, sorry.
All right, Pete.
Hold that.
Introduce our next guest.
Introduce I'm looking for him on the Zoom. I don't see him.
Wow.
We've got
the waiting room, bud.
Okay, I got you, bro. We got another winner of the NPFL on Grand Lake, just fresh off of his win. We got Taylor Watkins, the champ from Grand Lake. Welcome to the show, buddy.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Champ.
Yeah, it's going great, man. We've got nothing but winners on this show tonight, man. We're glad you could join the party with us.
I'm here.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's awesome. I've always wanted to get on. I always watch you guys. So yeah, this is definitely an honor. So I appreciate it.
Well, we're the honored ones, and you had a great win. It involved a lot of interesting stuff, but we just talked about how Topwater might play a role at the championship, but Topwater played a role in your big win.
Yeah. Not during the tournament, unfortunately. It is actually how I found them during practice, but I ended up having to make an adjustment and ended up picking up the jig and made it happen. I went through that area first thing in the morning. I had found them on a whopper plopper, or a Chapo, actually, Berkeley Chapo. And I went through that area first thing in the morning. There was about 5 other guys in there. We were all trying to fish about the same 9 docks. And it just didn't work out. And I kind of bounced around, hit a few other things. And about 10:30, I had one small keeper. And I just made up my mind. I said, I know those fish are in there. I know they're there. So I just need to go and concentrate on that area. I just got to figure out how to catch them and make them bite today. And I fished about halfway through the area, caught a few small ones, non-keepers. And I finally picked up the jig. And whenever I picked up the jig, it was game over. I caught a 2 3/4, and then went to the next dock, caught a 4-pounder, and then the next dock 3 3/4, and I turned the boat right around, went right back down the same stretch again, and I probably had, close to 15, half 16 pounds by the time I got done with that stretch of docks.
Wow! Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah. So
what jig were you throwing, Taylor?
What was that?
What jig were you throwing?
It was it used to be True South Custom Lures out of North Carolina. Now they've merged with Biz Baits, and it's called a fathead jig.
Fathead,
great skipping jig. It skips like a dream. So, and I was pairing it up with Reaction Innovations Spicy Beaver, and it's got good action on the tails and everything as it falls. A quick fall, a good heavy jig, and they were just reacting on it. They were suspended under those docks. That's why they would come up on the Chapo. I feel like during practice, they were just suspended under those docks. The Chapo would come down through there, and they'd come up and eat it. And I had my hooks bent in and everything, and I could see what was there. I could see the quality that was there. And so that's what gave me all the confidence to stay in there and hunker down with it.
That's awesome, man. So when I fish a lot of docks down here, I'm from the Southeast like you. So when I think about suspended fish under docks and they get off the top water and stuff like that, if they were still suspended, in my mind, it's like, man, it's hard to get them to just follow something down and go eat it. So were you doing something to trigger those bites? Were you swimming it? Were you popping it up off the bottom? Was there something?
They were deep. The docks were deep. The docks, like out on the end of the docks, were 30, 35 feet. Some of them were 40 feet but I really think it was just a reaction bite. So I would try and keep that jig in about 10 foot of water and I could watch it on my active target. I could slide my active target over and I could watch and see about how far that jig was going down. But 90% of the time, whenever I put the jig under there, I got bit on the immediate fall.
Wow.
Day 2, which was the day that I had the live camera, I did have a couple of fish, follow it out. And I really started, swimming then. I would pump the rod a good bit and get a good pump and let it fall back down and get a good pump and let it fall back down. And I did catch about 2 fish like that. It was cloudier that day, so I feel like the fish weren't really holding as tight to the docks as they were during practice and during that first day of the tournament. But I did figure out I had 2 specific docks in there that I really had big fish holding on, and I knew that during practice. And I actually caught my 2 biggest fish that second day. The fish had actually moved out to the poles that were in the slips. So, you got your floating dock, and most of those docks have a pole that is under that dock where you pull into the slip. I threw that jig in and worked it out, and then I hit the pole, and wherever I hit that pole, that's wherever I got that bite.
Wow.
And I ended up making 3 consecutive casts to that pole and caught my 3 biggest fish.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy. I mean, docks like that, like we see it on river systems or tidal systems a lot of times, where docks will replenish with the current. But on a reservoir, to have the docks replenished like that is amazing, man. That's a crazy find. What do you think was doing it? Was it a tremendous amount of bait, or what was going on with those docks?
Tons of bluegill. I could throw a buzzbait and the bluegill would not leave it alone. I mean, they would constantly just pull my buzzbait under. I mean, it was just loaded with bluegill. I even told my cameraman, I said, listen to the bluegill. It sounded like a mat on Guntersville. They were under there you could hear them smacking under the dock. I mean, and I told him, I said, this sounds like a mat on Guntersville, and it was unbelievable. But I knew there was multiple big fish under those 2 docks because during practice, whenever I threw the Chapo down through there, I would have like a 4-pounder come out and eat it, and there'd be 3 with it, trying to get it. So I knew that there was multiple fish there on those docks. And on day 3, of course, I didn't get a bite on neither one of those docks, but I think I caught them all. But, I had another set up the lake towards Wolf Creek, and I didn't really know that the quality was there. I didn't even practice those during practice. I did pull up in there and look at them, and I just kind of put it in the back of my mind. Hey, this is a good spot to, end my day. If I need to end my day, that I feel like I could probably pick up a keeper if I needed it. And that first day, I knew I had a good bag. I knew I had probably 16 pounds. So I came in, I gave myself about an hour and 15 minutes on those specific docks, and just picked a stretch, like there was boats everywhere there. There's community stuff. And I just picked a little spot in between a couple of them and started flipping down through there and caught a big one and cold right at the end of the day. Wow. Same thing on day 2. I gave myself enough time. I had a decent bag. I knew I had, 15 pounds or so. I come back, I picked a different section and started on it, and I flipped down through there, and I lost a 5-pounder. And I told my cameraman, I said, man, that one right there is going to cost me the tournament for sure. And so day 3, I had been throwing topwater and stuff in the mornings just because low light, just trying to get that bite going. I knew my stuff in that specific creek wouldn't get going until the afternoon. There was a better afternoon bite in there. And so that third and final day, I said, I'm just going to start right here and just put the trolling motor down and fish. And I actually marked every one of those docks that I got bit on, throughout the 2 days. And then the third day, I marked every dock. I caught a 3-pounder and then the 412, which I got blasted because everybody thought it was a 5 or 6-pounder. I put it in at 4.8. It was 412. And then I caught another keeper, and I actually marked all those docks. So I had 5 docks that I had marked, and every one of them had a piece of brush there. You know, it was a specific spot on that dock with a piece of brush. I went and I fished my main area down the lake, and then I came back and I hit those specific 5 docks, and I actually got bit on every single one of those docks coming back.
Dial.
And, and a couple of them were, you know, didn't help me. I did lose a 3-pounder, and then I caught a 3.5 that actually called and initially won the tournament for me.
That was great. It's a great win. And the bluegills, it's amazing. It must have been a hatch or something, maybe. I wonder what was concentrating the bluegills under those docks so much.
I don't know. During practice, I really picked up on it, you know, and I'm sure Keith saw it too. I don't know if he went down the lake at all, but that place is full of bluegill. I mean, it was full. Like there was multiple places that you could go and there'd be, you know, tons and tons of bluegill. And just for whatever reason, that particular creek just was holding quality fish, and you know, they were feeding on bluegill, obviously. So,
shout out to Biz Baits. You know, we're friends with Biz Bait, the folks over there for a lot of years at Bass U. But tell me about the jig again. What was the weight you were using?
It was actually a 9/16.
A 9/16.
Bigger than a half, but not quite a 3/4.
Okay.
What was your color combo on that?
It was just a green pumpkin and brown. It's on their website. You can go to their website and order it. It's a green pumpkin and brown with a green pumpkin spicy beaver on the back.
Yep.
It's technically in between a half and 5/8.
Get a little more technical,
Sorry
yes.
about that.
So
that's the world I work in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my world I'm talking now. Fractions.
Yes. What about line? Are you fluorocarbon? I would guess. Is that what you were using?
Yep, 20-pound fluorocarbon, tough line. You know, mustad and tough line are together, and it was a 20-pound tough line. Yep.
Okay.
So,
you know what I hear?
What's that?
Go ahead, Taylor. Go ahead.
A lot of guys were using 25, but I just trying to skip and flip the way that I was trying to put the bait in there. I couldn't do 25. Whenever I put on 25, it's so hard for me to get that cast and get that good skip like I like. And so I just had to go with 20. And but it worked out, you know. I didn't break any fish off that hurt me, but I really was particular about where I put my bait.
Can you talk a little bit about your rod reel setup and specifically like the type of action you like to have on your rod when you're skipping a jig around docks?
A 7.3 medium heavy is what I like. I bounce between a heavy and a medium heavy, and the heavy is okay, but I don't feel like I have the tip. That tip is really what loads that bait and allows you to skip it. I love the heavy, you know, once I hook the fish and I'm able to fight the fish back, and you know, I of course try to pretty much boat flip everything, but that medium heavy action is really what allows that bait to load up and you know, be able to fire it in there and skip it really well.
Yeah, that's so important. And that tip and skipping. Where were you skipping to? Were they coming off the end pilings? Did you have to get all the way under the walkway and the rear of the docks? Where were these fish coming from?
I did catch most of them off of the rear to the middle, but I'd say about 85 to 90% of them were in the middle slip. So like you had the backside and then you would have the floats, and in between those floats, I caught about 90% of them shooting it across the dock. I did catch a couple, you know, once I got onto the front side and pitching up in under the boats or under the floating, you know, they got the floats that lift the boats up out of the water. I did catch a couple up under those, you know, swimming it out by those bars and things like that. And then, of course, that second day, those fish had kind of positioned out towards the ends of the docks. I caught those 2 big ones out towards the end on the bar that helps hold the pier together.
Yeah, those docks are the floating dock. There's so many complications to it. So it seems to me like that skip was part of triggering that strike, skipping that jig, grabbing those fish's attention, and then that fast fall.
Yes, I feel 100% that the actual skip, I feel like got their attention. So I kind of had it in my mind. They were biting that chopo, just bloop, 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 bloop coming across. Well, the jig was kind of the same way. Whenever I'd skip the jig, it was psh, 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 across the water, and that gets their attention. And then that jig comes shooting down by them, and they just run over there and eat it. So that was kind of what I had played out in my mind.
You know what I hear, Pete? I think Taylor's a meat and potatoes kind of guy.
That's it.
Just brown green pumpkin jig, just simple green pumpkin, skipping, slinging that thing with the meat stick, 7.3 medium heavy, just boat flipping everything. I think you're a meat and potatoes guy.
I am. I keep it simple. I don't make things complicated. I'm a jig, a beaver, and a swim jig, and I really leaned on the chatterbait a lot this year. I've really tried to perfect that technique a lot, and I've leaned on it a lot this year throughout the NPFL. Chatterbait has played a huge role in my success this year.
Wow.
So I've kind of added that.
You had a great year. You finished top 5 in the points, right, Taylor?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Fifth in the points. I had a couple of small, I wouldn't even say slip ups. I mean, these guys, my worst finish was Winnebago with 32nd place, I think, was my worst finish. But I didn't get those top 10s like Keith. I would have one day that I kind of maybe struggled just a little bit. Like at Florida, I had 12 pounds one day, and then at Florida too, I had 2 dead fish on the first day, and that was a 2-pound penalty, so that 2-pound penalty and that pound penalty is just tough, sometimes. So that's kind of, I had a great year, but just those top 10s kind of eluded me a little bit this year.
I tell you, the interesting thing about the NPFLs is everybody competes every single day of the tournament. And that's different from the other tournament trails out there. Do you find that helped you guys? And this goes to you too, Keith. I mean, how did you guys account for having to battle everybody all the days, and how did it help your tournaments?
I actually loved it. I loved it. It fit me very well because I'm a multi-day kind of guy. Like, I'm not a one-day go out there and sack them up like Keith catch 35 pounds. Like, I don't do that. Like, I'm like y'all said, I'm meat and potatoes. Like, I'm just slow and steady, and I just try to stay consistent. So that consistency kills throughout 3 days. If I go out and catch 12 pounds one day, I'm typically going to go out and catch 12 pounds again the next day. If I go out and catch 16 one day, I'm typically going to go out and catch 16 again the next day. And that third day really played to my hand this year a lot. Like, I would be in that right at check range, and then that final day I'd make a push all the way to 16th, 15th place, and it really helped me out a lot throughout the year.
Consistency, theme of the night, consistency.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Keith? Tell me about fishing with the full field for 3 days. Obviously you did well with it, man. You must have enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. I liked it. It was great. I had concerns with just personal concerns with, guys who maybe would come in my areas or something. So for me, I'm always shallow. It's easy to to watch camera and maybe look at the background and or a landmark and say, oh, okay, he's in this area or something, and then maybe go try to salvage a check, and fish near me or something. But luckily it didn't affect me too much. It did affect me. It did have that happen in multiple tournaments, but for most part, I would say 99% of the guys are respectful. But there's always that one guy that can mess something up.
What's that guy's name?
Yeah, no names. But it does happen. So it's it's unfortunate, but it's like as far as everybody fishing though, I think it's good. I'm interested in data on like who has made the biggest jump from getting a check, like that final day. Like, was it 70th place to move into top 36? Is it 50th? I just want to know, like, just for curiosity reasons, who's made the biggest jump and stuff like that, and how does that work? I love the NPFL. This is we're like family here. It's the best. So far, the best trail I've actually ever fished. Not talking bad about any other trails at all, but it's just really, really good. Our tournament directors, everyone involved works extremely hard, and they're out there working for us. It's like it's great. To see them work as hard as they do, and to put on the event in the way that they do. It's awesome. Yeah, I like everything.
That's great, except for that guy that pulled in on you.
Yeah. Oh, it happens, it's how it goes.
Yeah, it is how it goes. It's part of fishing, and I'm with you on the cuts. That's one of the things I really like about this. I don't like cuts. The only time I like a cut is when I happen to be in it. Other than that,
I'm with you. I am with you on that. Like I was fortunate. I had a great year. I cashed checks. I got a lot of top 10s and stuff. If I were in the position where, let's say I was in 70th place or whatever, 80th, 90th, going into day 3, I wouldn't necessarily even want to be there. Like, it's just, I'm with you on that. I don't belong there. I didn't earn my spot to be there. Like, so it's like, kind of wouldn't want to be there, but hey, it's nothing against the league or anything. It's fantastic. So it's great. Yeah.
I've always admired the guys, that could come back from bad, like on these 3-day tournaments, where you're fishing the whole time. Like, you have a bad day, but you come back and recover and make your adjustment. I always felt like those guys, had were the best anglers. They
right,
because it's hard. Like, you talk about mental toughness, man. It's hard to come back when you come to the scales with 2 fish. You just want to go home,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like, just get out of here. It's like, dang it, that was bad. Yeah.
Is it necessarily the hardest thing to do, or is it just how you look at having a terrible day 1? Because, you might be able to say that after you have an absolutely terrible day 1, it might be the easiest decision of your life, because you're going to go out and not do everything you did the day. So
that's true.
You ruled out half your areas, half your tackle box, whatever, after that terrible day 1. Day 2, you're like, well, I can't get any worse,
Yeah. Well, as far as a terrible day 1, like that's okay. Yeah, I've had some rough day 1s, and I was fortunate enough to come back strong day 2, and I was able to look at my mistakes and the decisions I made and come back and do better. But as far as I think what Pete was mentioning, like going into from day 2 to day 3, that's where, like, if you have 2 bad days, there's not much coming back from that. So, it's like, look forward to the next one.
It did work out for me in Florida, because day 1, I had a good day. I had a little over 16 pounds, but I had the 2-pound dead fish penalty, which put me at 14. And then day 2, I struggled a little bit and had 12 pounds. And I think I was like 50 something, somewhere in there, maybe even the 60th, real close. And day 3, I went out and sacked up almost 19, like 18 something, and jumped all the way to, like, I don't know, 16th place or something like that.
Oh, wow. So you jumped 40 places?
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
So it really played to my hand in that tournament, which next year it might be right the opposite. I might be 15th and fall all the way to 40th, but
for this win, you look at that tournament and you're like, man, this has got me in position to make the championship. I didn't know where you were going in. I know you had a top 5 finish and stuff, but golly,
I was in 10th. I was in 10th going in. So, I knew, I go catch a couple fish, I was pretty well in. And so I really practiced for this tournament to win, I told a couple of people, I said, I don't have anything to lose. I can't win AOY, but if I go catch a few fish or whatever and don't just absolutely bomb, I'm going to make the championship. So I actually practiced for this tournament to win. And that was consistent of, I walked the top water in my hand and I practiced with a top water, I would say 85% of the tournament, you know, and luckily I found those fish and I ended up catching them a different way, but, you know, to say it helped me, I don't know, but it definitely, I had confidence in the area that I was fishing. So.
Well, I love the ability to come back. We saw Jamie Hartman do it at the Bassmasters. He came back from way down and win. And and that's when, because they didn't have a cut in that tournament, and we could see that happen, and you miss that drama, you know. But by having everybody compete all 3 days, it affords you the chance to come back from a bad day, and you can still recover. So that's really cool to see. Is that your favorite part, like, about the NPFL? You guys, it's like a family. You guys love it over there. What do you look forward to next year? What are your favorite things about the NPFL?
Go ahead, Keith.
Okay. All right. So, you know, my favorite thing is, well, yeah, it is like a family, and, you know, it's a trail where, like, we're all known by our names, and, how do I say this properly? We're just, you know, we are a family, and we all look out for each other. We would all help each other out. If one of us was broken down, you know, I think any one of us would stop, given the opportunity, and helping one another out. One of the great things is one of the things I love is the drive-through weigh-in. It's awesome. You know, it's like you come back, there's a place to pull up to the dock because guys in the flights before you are already on the trailer weighing in. It's so quick. You go get your truck, you put your boat on the trailer, you know, your fish stay in the live well. When you weigh in, your boat's already on the trailer. Like, it's literally saving hours of our day every day. You know, right. You know, and so, like, you know, you then you're rigging up and stuff, like, you go eat dinner. It's like, you just have time. I have more time to look at the map, which is a big deal for me, you know? So, yeah, that's a huge thing for me. Versus, you know, other tournaments where, you know, you gotta, you know how it goes, you know, go get in a bag line, go this, and then go get your truck after you're weighed in. And before you know it, it's 7 o'clock and you haven't rigged up or anything for the next day. It's just fantastic. And they work extremely hard for us. They really do. You know, when I say that, you know, Brad and Al, they're out there in the parking lot in the morning. They're parking vehicles. They're directing traffic. They're working the way. They're doing everything. Like, they're invested. You know, it's really nice to see that. You know, they're busting their behinds for us. So, yeah, wow. It just feels good. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Yeah. Somebody asked me the question just the other day about fish care. You know, how do you feel about the fish being, you know, in that parking lot for so long? And I said, well, you know, my fish are in my live well the whole time. And at Grand Lake, worked out fantastic. I think that I pulled up and loaded my boat, went straight to the bump table and got bumped. And then I think I was third person in line, you know, each day. It took no time whatsoever. My fish do not get stuffed in a bag, carried across a parking lot, get put into a tank, then, you know, stand at a tank for 45 minutes in the same stagnant water in that bag, and then go up to the stage, you know, and all that. Our fish are in the live well the entire time. The only time they come out is to go into the mesh bag, and they're straight back into the live well, an aerated live well and the fish are already accustomed to that exact water. That's the water that they've been in the whole time. It's the same temperature. They're not going from different temperature to temperature change. I really think that is better fish care than any other trail that is doing a 5-fish weigh tournament.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, and then the other thing about the NPFL, of course, you know, it's been known, you know, we're like family. Nobody believed in us. Nobody believed that we could do what we were going to do. And, oh, this league doesn't belong, blah, 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 blah. Well, that just connected us all. You know, nobody believes in us. Let's prove this entire country wrong. And I truly believe that we've done it. I mean, this next year is going to be awesome. Yeah, I mean, you just look at the guys that we've added to the list this year. You know, we didn't even fill a field, and this year we've got 65 people on the waiting list, you know, and I knew it was going to be like that. That's why I had to get in wherever I got in, you know, and I'm so thrilled to be a part of this. And I would have been so upset sitting on the sidelines. Like I would have been sick to my stomach sitting on the sidelines watching this happen.
Me too, man. I'm so glad I got in, you know, when I did. And yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it really is. It's a great trail.
Well, it's awesome to see two great champions, and we're going to get to see you guys just here in a few weeks competing for the year end. What's the year end tournament called? Is just the championship tournament?
Championship. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think it's the is it the showdown?
Well, that's showdown Saturday. I don't know what we're going. We're still.
There is a term for it.
We'll get to that later in this deal. You can ask the people that know. How about that?
Yeah.
We're just there to fish. That's all we're there to do. We just cash checks and fish. We don't worry about what it's called.
Taylor, hold up that trophy.
Yeah, hold up that trophy.
You sure? I need to go work out first.
Dude, that thing
you want me to
weighs
get it
like
right here in front of the camera?
pounds.
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
What? Seriously? Oh my God!
It takes two people to lift it up.
You better have a strong back. You're gonna win a event.
Wow,
that's right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is dope, dude.
Nice trophies, guys. Well done, NPFL.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody wants to take a picture? I'm like, bro, you're gonna have to hold this thing. Like you're gonna have to.
Right.
A lot of pictures sitting down next to it.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you have any questions, Riz, that we can ask these boys before we let them go?
Yeah, I sure do. D South on the message board wants to know from Taylor, how much did active imaging change the way that you practice this year for tournaments in the NPFL?
So I actually started the year off without it. So the first, I guess the first two tournaments, I did not have active target. And I made sure that I had active target whenever I went to Florida because I thought that it was going to be an offshore grass deal. So I that was my goal, was to make sure that I had it before I went to Florida. At Florida, I probably got to spend maybe a week or so with it before I got there. And in Florida, it actually helped me. I caught two of my better fish on isolated grass. I was fishing some boat docks and stuff, flipping boat docks there as well. And I'm flipping, down through there, and I kind of panned over and I see an isolated patch of grass. And I said, man, there's a fish sitting on that. And I picked up a chatterbait and threw a chatterbait over the top of it. And I'm watching the chatterbait on my screen, and the fish never reacted whatsoever. I hit the grass patch, ripped it out. Fish never reacted. Picked up a worm, threw a worm over there. And I'm like, well, dang, where did it go? And about that time, my worm just thunk, and I caught it, And I did that about 2 or 3 different times. As far as practice goes, finding brush piles and stuff like that, that's the biggest thing that it's helped me out with is, just as far as what I just said was fishing down the bank, and I constantly just kind of pan around and look. And I'll see something off to the side and make a cast over to it, particularly at Grand, it did not help me at all because the fish were not on those outside brush piles. I fished them and I could not get a bite on the outside brush piles. Those fish were up under those docks. So it has definitely helped me. And I've really tried to make it not hurt me. I have heard many guys say active target has hurt me, it's hurt me. And I really put in my mind that I'm not going to let active target hurt me and spend too much time with it. Now, if I'm out playing, practicing or something like that, most certainly I will play with it as much as possible. But, whenever it comes down to, tournament time, I'm going meat and potatoes. I'm not playing with that thing.
Love it. Love it. Forward facing, play in the AOY for you, Keith?
Oh, wow. What do you think, Pete?
Tell the truth.
Yeah,
Tell the truth.
I don't. I think I caught my first fish off of it in Sturgeon Bay, which was not a part of our tournament season. It was just fun fishing, smallmouth.
What
but no.
What about the ICAST Cup? Remember, it was before.
Oh yeah, we caught some on it. Yeah,
remember Keith was. Can I tell this story? Can I
tell it? Yeah, I can't remember.
Keith and I fish, and at the end of the day, we're just, he goes, man, I need to turn this thing on. Can you show me what a fish looks like on forward facing?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, there, and then Keith catch. Oh, that's pretty cool. I was like, here we go. John Cox. John Cox learned something new again.
Yeah, I turned it on at Pickwick during the event. I was fishing those fish drains, trying to catch a limit on the way back to weigh in, and I told Patrick Walters this story. So I get to the drain and I was like, I'm going to turn on active target. Maybe I'll catch one. And I flick it on, and there's like 100 fish. I mean, from 80 feet to 0 feet to all depths of the columns, tons of fish. And I didn't know what to do. What do I cast at? What do I do? I said, I have no clue. I'm freaking out. I throw over to the drain. I catch a smallmouth, a spot, and a bass back to back to back. And then that was it. I didn't get any more out of the bank. And then I was just, I don't know how to use this. So I left. And I told Patrick, and he's like, I bet that was the winning school of fish right there. And you had no clue how to use it. And I said, I bet you're right, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it kind of spins me out sometimes, because at any time that you flick that on, no matter where you're at in any lake, there is just fish everywhere, and what are they? Carp, bass, striper, brim. I don't know. There's I've learned that there's way more fish out there than you think there is with that thing. Yeah. So it's a cool thing.
At Winnebago, you could have literally spent a year out there and possibly never threw out a bass, not one time. I mean, there were so many fish in Winnebago. I mean, between drum and walleye and everything. And I finally, the only thing that I used it for at Winnebago was to actually see. I was fishing bigger rock, and I would actually pan around to see where the bigger rock was. I tried not to use it for actually targeting fish. I did catch a couple, I would see a fish and throw over to them, and they would go down and they would eat it. But that probably happened twice, and I probably threw at 500,000 fish. So you could definitely waste some time on a lake like that. Personally with me, because I couldn't tell between a drum and a walleye and a smallmouth with it. So.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll come with time, but
yeah.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because we have Mr. Forward Facing Sonar coming on here in just a few minutes, who is making a ton of money using it with Patrick Walters. What do you got, BTC?
I got one question that came in hot off the presses. Ask Taylor what was the one thing he was most excited about after the win on Grand.
Oh my gosh, I know who this came from, and I'm not going to answer it. I told Paul and Al, I said that we were standing there, and I said, you know what? The most thing that I'm most excited about is being on LBL. And he said, I'm not telling you that. We're just going to act like you didn't even say that. And I said, yeah, don't tell Luke. He'll blow his head up so big he won't be able to walk in the door. and then right after that, he goes, guess what? You're going to be on Bass University. I said, well, that's really freaking cool too. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, Bass University trumps Low Budget Live, by the way, in case anybody was wondering.
The Dean versus Luke.
Who did that come from, by the way? Who did that come from?
You know who.
Okay.
The bearded one.
Okay.
The bald bearded one.
Yep.
Ooh.
He would do that to me.
Yeah, he's
He
shaving
would do
the
that
head, man. He's shaving it.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. It's gone.
Yeah, that's just gone.
What?
I didn't mean balding.
Hey, here we go. Hey, I don't know if any of y'all listened to it or not, but my wife, right before I got on, she said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're gonna get to talk to Fat Duncan." She meant Fat Cat and Luke Duncan, and she said Fat Duncan.
Oh God.
That's awesome.
There's a meme work if there ever was one.
Right?
Man,
Somebody needs
I like
to draw that.
That's the new duo, man. I like it.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks
It was
for
good. They
queuing
did a
that one
good
up
job.
for us, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve Donis, draw us some Fat Duncan.
He's on it. He's on it.
All right, we got Pat Walters. He was in the queue. He left, and he's ready to come back on. So.
All right, let's bring him on.
We're gonna take a quick break, BTC.
That is correct, Peter.
All right. Let's take a quick break. We're going to be back with our big announcement, which kind of we already alluded to, and Patrick Walters talking NPFL, the next year's tournament trail. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Congratulations on your success and best of luck at the championship.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yes,
right
sir.
on, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You bet.
Thanks
you
for
bet,
coming on.
guys. And we'll be right back after BTC says what?
Thanks for coming on our show too.
Yeah.
Anytime, guys. Anytime. I promise.
All right.
Hopefully, I don't have to win again to get on, but
We'll see.
That's right. We'll be following and watching and rooting for you guys, and we will be right back with more Bass University Live after this.
Moment on the water not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together, the One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Tackle Warehouse is proud to sponsor the FLW Pro Circuit and is the official tackle retailer of FLW, providing proven bass fishing gear as well as the newest and hottest tackle. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service staff can help you every step of the way. And we offer free ground shipping on orders over $50. Tackle Warehouse. Everything for the bass angler at the lowest prices. Guaranteed.
I have to be constantly on the lookout for new techniques to stay on the top of my game.
Giant.
Some have been more successful than others.
Giant.
The finesse fingernail.
Happens every time.
The chain gang.
Broke it off.
The crow's nest.
Never let go.
And don't even get me started on tackle management, especially trying to stop rust and corrosion. Peanut butter.
Not good.
Motor oil.
Gotta keep the rust off all these baits.
WD-40.
Gotta keep the rust off.
Silica, toothpicks, Q-tips, the list goes on and on. I'm hard on tackle, I fish fast, I need my tackle organized and protected. I can't be worrying about losing baits to rust. And when it comes to tackle management, there's only one solution. Flambeau Tackle Storage Systems with Z-Rust technology. The original anti-rust tackle box. Uncompromised clarity. Renowned durability. The infused anti-rust option that is FDA safe and free of harmful chemicals. The organization options are endless, but there's only one. One box, one anti-corrosion technology, one family-owned, American-made brand, Flambeau Z-Rust Tackle Solutions. Preserve, perform, repeat.
Well, folks, we're back and finally got rid of Keith. All right.
Well, and welcome back. We always have people that they love to hang around the broadcast, man. That's awesome. But welcome back, everybody. Bass University Live. What a great segment that was, talking with two great winners this year on the NPFL. And we've got some exciting news, and we've got a new guest with us that many of you know, and he's been with us for a long time, and he's become a super champion over on the Bassmaster Elites, and he's got it's exciting news for us. We're about to announce it, but with us is Patrick Walters. Welcome back to the show, Pat.
Guys, how's it going? I hope y'all can hear me. Pete, thanks for the introduction. It's things are right now. The last 3 years on the Elite Series have been very good, but yeah, there's some new things coming, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, BTC, how do you want to do this? Do you want to let them break the news, or do you want to do it, or how do you?
I want to sit back and watch you stumble through this. Go ahead, JK. This is your moment, buddy.
Yeah, it's a big moment, because one of ours is taking a big step, and we're super proud of him. He's had some great success, and he's going to, you're going to take the big leap, and it's our own professional fish head. He's been invited to compete in the National Professional Fishing League, the NPFL. He's taken up the invitation, and he's going to get after it in 2021. JK, man,
22.
That's amazing news.
2022.
Yeah.
22.
Thank you, Pete. I just, there are a lot of feelings, right? Humbled, nervousness, excited, of course. I feel like I'm on a journey, and you guys have had quite the front seat to it, from not even knowing how I was going to go about 2021. We went from almost selling the boat and going back to just staying a co-angler because it was going so well. And then it happened, and the confidence that I feel like I needed was born, and just getting better. And, Bass U has just so much to do with my journey getting here. It really does. I can credit working here, being around guys. I get to talk to Pete the Dean Glusek every day. So, I get a second opinion on everything, but man, just really just developing into the angler I've always wanted to be, and now just hungry and confident. And I cannot wait for this opportunity to go, you're I'm achieving a dream, it's a different format, and it looks different than, maybe I always thought it was. This league is new. It's fresh. You got some things happening that look pretty exciting, and I'm excited to be a part of it and go to new places and man, go toe to toe with guys like Pat. And, I'm a big believer in, it's not about who you're fishing against. It's about what standard that lake's going to put before you, and you got to go meet that standard. And I'm excited to see what we can do, man, and try to make, Pete, you're like a second father to me, like you really are. Like, just, try to make you proud, and try to make Bass U proud and my family, and try to make something of this. It's we don't know how long this will last. So is this going to be a career? Is this going to be a 1-year thing? Either way, I don't care how far it goes. I'm just so thankful and excited to have the chance to go do this.
Well, I think it's great. I think it's great that that you're taking this chance, and excited about it. We've seen you, and it's amazing because what a story that will be when you're holding up the championship trophy one day, when you talk about how you were on the cusp of selling your bass boat, and you were like, look, man, I'm just gonna do the co-angler thing, and just go down that road, and man, you had 180 degrees. What a great story. It's already a great story,
It really is. it's unbelievable to look back and think that. The biggest thing that I'm really happy with, because I've alluded to this, confidence and self-confidence has been a big issue for me, even in competing. And I stayed comfortable. I became a good co-angler and stayed comfortable in that spot, and really hesitated, to really go out and do it. And I think the biggest thing for that I'm happy about is that I actually listened to my gut, even though I was kind of putting my back against the wall. Switching to boater and kind of giving it that go really, it was like fish a couple tournaments, and if it didn't work out, it was going to be sold, and I'm really happy that I just rolled the dice on myself, and listened to my gut and followed what I really wanted to do,
Well,
So-
you have tremendous results as a co. Your stats are off the charts in that arena, and we're excited to see what's going to take place. And I want to fold Patrick in, because one of a good friend of our show, obviously Ken Duke, statistically speaking, says, and I'm paraphrasing him. I'm kind of speaking for him. I apologize, Ken, but he says Patrick Walters is the best angler on the Bassmaster Elites right now. And
statistically speaking, wow.
Yeah,
That's a pretty bold statement, but honestly, I think we've already wrapped up the show. Justin hit the nail on the head. He hit it home with that intro, Justin. I think we can take it to the house. No, it's that I don't see it that way, being the best angler in the Elites years, because I'm telling you, there's just so many good guys fishing right now. Everybody's got their niche, but let me tell you guys, Justin's got the knack for fishing on that side. I think, like me and Justin have been talking, this is the right time. This is the opportunity. And I'm telling you, I think he's going to hit it out of the park this year.
Well, we're going to be certainly rooting for him, but you're taking your skill set over there too. You're going to stay with the Elites. You're going to add the NPFLs. Tell us about that. That had to be a big decision for you.
It was a big decision. I actually thought about it over the entire year. When they were announcing that the NPFL was being created, and there was another tour being created, that it was like, hey, it's in the works, we're looking at it. And everybody kind of gave it a trial run that first year. Everybody kind of wanted to sit back and see how it was going to go. But in my opinion, I feel like you got to fish as much as possible. You got to fish as many tournaments in a year that you can make work that you can still function. Where I've always fished 2 divisions of opens each year, which is 6 or 8 tournaments. And then when I saw the NPFL, it reminded me of the good old days of bass fishing, where 5 or 10 years ago, when you saw the guys fishing the Elites and FLW, when FLW was at its peak. And that's what it reminded me of, those guys just fishing. And that's what I want to get back to, is just, hey, cut all the fuss out and just worried about the next tournament and going fishing, and just fishing as much as possible. That's how I make a living. I'm not good with YouTube. I'm not that great with social media. I want to make my living on the water. And I think that's what those guys at NPFL are doing right now. They're really doing top-notch stuff. And I'm always going to be with the Elites. I'm not leaving bass. That's where I want to be at. But I really, guys at the NPFL are doing right now, and I'm there to support them.
Well, that's great. You're one of several big names that are coming over there to really strengthen and bolster that field with some super talent guys that have some proven track record. Man, it's going to be getting a little bit tougher over there at the NPFLs, I think.
I think so too. And there was already a tough crowd, but the way I looked at it, it's 6 tournaments, and no matter what lake you're fishing, you're never fishing against your competition. You're fishing against the fish on each body of water, exactly like what Justin said. And compared to fishing the opens, where you're fishing against 225 guys, and 40th place is a $2,200 check, where now you're fishing against 125 guys and you're fishing for a $9,000 to $10,000 check. That's the only way I looked at it. It's the field's going to be the same competition wise. It's just you're fishing against 100 less guys, and they have live coverage. It's more of an opportunity to grow my brand, to help my sponsors, and it's full circle.
Well, what do you think of this, Angler of the Year title getting won by a guy that didn't use forward-facing sonar?
That's the trend of 2021. Look at Seth. I mean, he proved it on the Elite, so it doesn't technically matter what trail you fish this year. Yeah. Angler of the Year, you don't need forward-facing sonar to win Angler of the Year. Sometimes you got to go back to your roots and you got to go in the dirt. The thing is, though, once you see forward-facing sonar for the first time, it's kind of hard to shut it off because you're like I heard Keith say earlier, there was 80 to 100 fish down there. Like, who knows what Keith was on? I mean, Keith has got a knack for finding fish, and I mean, you just don't know. So when you see something like that, you're just like, man, well, you just hate to cut it off and be like, if I'd have just turned it on, you'd have panned just a little bit over there to the left. There'd have been the mother load, but you were looking right the whole time. So it's when you got it, it's hard not to use it.
Mm. Well, you got JK. We've worked with Patrick for years now, and he's a great speaker, a tremendous instructor for us at Bass University. Yeah, and you guys connected. You two are. Is this true? You guys are going to room together. You guys are going to travel the NPFL tour together.
That's the plan. You know, me and Justin hit it off right off the bat because I mean, his name's Professional Fish Head. I mean, we're both just fish heads. Like, I think we'll call and talk for 30 minutes. I had like a simple question that should have took probably 30 seconds, but we'll talk for 30 minutes about something completely stupid. I mean, we're talking about just tinkering with baits and stuff. It's the love for tackle, love for fishing.
Yeah. And I think Patrick's somebody that might not get annoyed with the fish head sense, because I can't turn it off. It's just like I cannot turn it off, and Patrick's the same wavelength.
Yeah, trust me, you can ask my wife. I can't turn it off. She's like, "Are we going to talk about anything other than fishing?" And I'm like, "Well, how was work?" And she's like, "It was bad." And I'm like, "Man, they just didn't bite today, honey." And she's like, "Are you serious?" One question, and it's done. And it's like, I tried. I mean, I made an attempt.
Oh, I know. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what that Airbnb is going to be like with you two guys. But
lots of tackle and odds.
We'll probably have to rig for 2 days.
So as travel partners, and this question comes from the balded, bearded boss guy of yours. As travel partners, who's cooking and who's cleaning?
I'll cook if he does the dishes. Justin's probably like,
we're gonna have to test that cooking out.
Ooh, I'm down with that.
We'll have to test that out. But yeah, we'll figure out some teamwork. We'll figure out some teamwork.
I like to cook, but when I'm on tournament trail, man, I would take that offer in 2 seconds, JK. You got somebody cooking dinner. I'm doing those dishes.
I don't mind cooking. I'm too lazy to do dishes for some reason. I don't know why. I'll cook all day. I just don't want to do the dishes.
Bring paper plates.
I was about to say, Brian's on top of it. Paper and plastics, what we're going with.
There you go. The thing about Patrick is, he doesn't, and I haven't traveled with him yet, but from what I can tell, he's not afraid to come in a little early. He's not afraid to sleep in a little bit during practice. He's not Mike Iaconelli out there, first to arrive and first to leave. So he might be perfect for that. He might have dinner ready for me when I'm coming off the water,
That possibly might be true. I do like to sleep in. I'm not going to lie. It'll be I haven't been to the boat landing yet before sunrise. So we'll see if I can go find a topwater bite tomorrow. But I've been known to sleep in till about 9 o'clock sometimes and just mosey on out there.
Wow.
In an Elite
that
Series
sounds
practice.
Nice.
Yeah. Even the good thing in the Elite Series, like I've slept in till 10 o'clock before in an Elite Series practice and still beat Steve Kennedy to the boat landing. That's kind of what makes you feel better. It's like you're just not the last one. You don't want to be that guy. And so it's like when I wake up, I'm leaving the campground and I'm like, all right, I'll make a lap around the campground to make sure Steve's still there. I'm like, all right, I'm good. Steve honestly practiced probably for 4 hours a day, maybe 5. Like I'll leave before him and I'll come back at like 6 o'clock or something before, still 2 hours of daylight and he's already back at the house. And I'm like, Steve, how did you even find him this week? And he'll cut a check every time.
Wow.
He's just got the knack for it.
So you guys, Pete, you've been traveling. You traveled with Ike for years. BTC, Briz, you guys have practiced. Can you imagine Ike getting a sleep in and accidentally and getting like a 10 o'clock start? In practice?
No, stuff would be broken.
Oh yeah.
If he slept in,
He'd be so
in
mad.
until 9, the whole camper would be broken.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. He would penalize the alarm clock for not going off on time.
That phone
I
would be
used
in
to
the
do that.
drywall.
I used to be like that, and I'd get all worked up. But you got to learn who you are as an angler. And I mean, I love getting out there early, but you can't let it stress you out. It used to would get me fired up, and then I'd be mad about it. Like, God, I'm late. And then now it's like, hey, just embrace it. I mean, if you're going to be late, just hey, you're late today. Don't worry about it. Don't be in a rush, because once you start off that way, it's nothing but downhill from there. Like your day is not going to be productive. So if I sleep in, it's like, hey, I'm just going to take my time, and that's the day it's going to be. I'm still going to go to the gas station, top off, get a bag of ice. You got to have a bag of ice. So you just have to take your time. And you have to know who you are as an angler.
And what does that say about you as an angler? Do you not like that extra time to process patterns or think about strategies, or does it just relax you? What with that extra time? How are you benefiting from that?
I don't really know if you are. I think it's just sometimes I'm just too lazy to get out of bed. That's probably the bad thing.
But you learned how to shift your anger over those moments in practice and release it on tournament days, right? I mean, tell
absolutely. At a tournament day, I'm going to be the first every morning. Besides Clun beats me every single day. Like when I've got something to get done. I mean, I'm being late. You can ask my wife. I hate being late. Like it gives me such anxiety. But I've learned now, like for practice wise, it's like, hey, it doesn't matter how much practice you get. You can honestly have too much practice. And so you just kind of have to rest. You don't need to overdo it sometimes. I'll fish from daylight till dark a lot of times, but it's that second day, hey, I'm going to probably fish 3/4 of the day. And then this third day, I'll probably fish half the day. And then I'm going to spend time rigging. So it's just, you kind of got to learn that. But when it's tournament time, I'm going to be the first one. I'm going to be probably 2 hours early, just in case.
Yeah.
In case I'm broken.
You're sitting at the launch ramp 2 hours before takeoff?
Sometimes, usually. Yeah, I'll be in the water and ready to go at least an hour and a half. Like I'll get there 2 hours ahead of time, and then I'll be in the water an hour and a half before we're getting ready for takeoff, pulling rods and stuff out, making sure everything's right, making sure trolling motor's not working, because sometimes just stuff breaks overnight. I don't know what climbs in your boat and breaks it, but I've seen it happen.
Gremlins come in your boat overnight.
I've seen it. Batteries, trolling motors, doesn't matter. Stuff will break.
It's funny because I can't understand that kind of process, because BTC will tell you I'm the last one to the launch ramp. I like going to the launch ramp when everybody else is in the water already, boats are parked, and I'm the last one there. It's such a relaxing way to do it.
It's so relaxing when you pull into the boat landing and there's not a single truck in the parking lot, and you get to pick whatever parking spots you want. That's only on tournament day. On practice, I'm parking in the grass.
That's funny. I will never know what that feels like. Let's get some ground rules, guys. We got a practice team here. What are we doing? We sharing waypoints, grass beds, information. Have you guys even addressed how you guys are going to process information at practice?
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. We're coming from two different parts. Patrick's, he travels with a guy, Justin Hamner, another solid Elite Series angler, had a great year this year. And I've been working at the Bass University, so I'm gonna adhere. I want to, like Patrick a lot, want him to do well, and we hit it off great. And it's hard for me to stay silent about anything, with whoever I trust and am around. So I'm probably gonna adhere to how Patrick does it, how he's comfortable doing it, because we need to stay focused on the objectives and have a good time enjoying it as well. But I'm definitely gonna adhere to that. You know, that he's already doing it a certain way. You don't want to get him out of his rhythm that he's already practicing on the elites. You know.
So how we doing, Patrick?
Basically everything's wide open. See, that's the biggest thing is when you have somebody you're traveling with, and the thing is you got to be staying together. That's, I think, the biggest thing, because you got to share information. Basically, hey, you know, we're catching backs of creek, sharing waypoints, anything. It's basically you two are working as a team, and that's the biggest thing. Where if you're not staying with each other, there's so much miscommunication over the phone. You can talk to somebody and he's like, yeah, but you're just not getting the whole truth. And that's why me and Justin decided to stay with each other this year. It's basically, we are a team where we're going to work together, share whatever waypoints, baits, any kind of thing that we run across that's like, hey, man, I'm catching them in the back of creeks, or I'm catching them on top water. This is the top water I'm catching them on. It was on this point. See what you can replicate. Because that way you can break down a larger body of water much faster. And that's the thing. You have to find somebody trustworthy. It's a hard thing to find a fishing partner that you can trust. And I think, I mean, me and Justin, we get along great. We have so much in common that we work together well.
Well, that's great. And boy, they're words of wisdom for guys that are traveling together for sure. Now, we've seen the Johnston brothers, man, they put all their money in the pot, split it down the middle. Any thoughts?
No.
Yeah, the money thing is, I feel like you gotta be in relation almost. I mean, that's
crazy.
That is.
I mean,
but Justin, if you don't want to give me 30 grand, we can split it.
Pay those entry fees and you're good, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
I got a question for this, Pete.
Go ahead.
So along this topic, will Justin have to adhere to the strict costume regimen that you roll with?
Listen, there is a dress code in the Airbnb. Listen, if it's not hugging them nuts, we ain't cracking no bags, okay?
Oh man, yeah. There's no way I can wear shorts. My butt is too big.
Oh god, y'all are killing me.
All right, so we're showing a lot of leg, Justin.
All right, so the only thing that I'm not sharing with Patrick is
your legs.
No, my those lucky peanut butter energy balls that my wife makes. I just don't have enough to share, you know. So
I didn't know this was a thing. Now hold on,
they're lucky.
We might need to readdress this relationship. I didn't know there were some lucky peanut butter balls. Now, I mean, we're gonna have to get back into this.
First I'm hearing about them too, Patrick.
I'm
same here.
I am intrigued.
Oats, a little bit of chocolate chips, some shaved coconut if you're getting wild, and then some honey to really make it all come together, and it stays, you know, pretty solid. So a lot of people who have entered my boat have experienced this, and there's plenty of people who have asked my wife for the recipe.
And you just gave it out?
Yep. Well, no, I didn't give you out the measurements.
We need ratios now.
Yeah, there's a secret ingredient, but we can't.
Listen, I will give you as much suffix line as you want for that recipe. we can make a trade on this. Listen, I will give you my starting hole day one of the first tournament.
Whoa,
Patrick,
for a bag of those.
How much you spend at Omnia fishing tackle? Okay, like I know.
I buy way too much tackle. It's an addiction. It is honestly like I need to pump the brakes on the tackle probably.
I'd rather have Japanese baits and you know all the goofy stuff.
I have got a little thing for some JDM tackle. I'm not gonna lie. If it's out there, I've definitely looked at it. Sadly, lately I think I've purchased it.
Oh man, yeah.
Some tackle addicts. I know when Mike and I traveled together, we blew up a building like no other. Like we would rods, tackle, just exploding into a house rental, and there was nowhere to step, you know. how are you guys? Are you like Larry Nixon came into our hotel room and looked in and just shook his head and laughed and left like he could not believe the disaster that Mike and I were operating in. Because hey, you go into Larry Nixon's room and there was not a piece of tackle. He had a briefcase with a map, one map inside, open on the bed. That was it. You know. How are you guys? Are you guys neat guys? Do you know that about each other yet? Or
You've stayed with me. I've practiced with you. You've stayed with me. You know I've got somewhat of a. I'll give you the example. So at the Toyota Championship, trying to find somebody to stay with. I saw that my good buddy Wesley Strader was qualified for it. So I called Wesley, and he was staying with John Murray and a couple other guys from the West Coast. So a couple of John Murray's buddies, John Stralick and Michael, and man, they stayed with me. I didn't know, but two of them, I knew Wesley and John, of course, through Bash U and stuff. Well, John comes in one night, they're all done with dinner, and dude, I'm still sweating over tackle. You're talking about, this is a tournament where you're getting a bite if you're lucky as a co-angler. It's 23 degrees every morning and all that stuff. And they started making fun of me, because it's like getting on 10, 11 p.m., and they're all done tackle prep. I've got 20 rods out. I'm only taking 7. Don't know which ones I'm taking. Nothing. I mean, there's soft plastics over here, hard bait boxes over here. I'm trying to put everything into two boxes. So this is co-angler, but I'm like everywhere. And John Murray goes, "Hey, Stralick, who does Justin remind you of? Like, who does he remind you of? Like, I'm ready for bed, but who does he remind you of?" And then they gave me the biggest compliment I've ever gotten in my life. And John, they said Aaron Martins. They said Aaron was like that, just tackle everywhere until midnight, past midnight, And I was like, I'm taking that as a compliment. I don't care if you're making fun of me. I'm taking it as a compliment.
That's awesome.
But how about you, Patrick? Are you bring tackle in at night? Do you obsess on it, or?
I sometimes bring it inside if it's raining, but I feel like I'm pretty organized. I keep it confined to the boat. But on the boat, there will be 25 rods layout, and I will rig, I think, probably 25 to 30 for a tournament, depending on if it's like a tough fight, like Justin was saying. Like, if I don't know what I'm going to be doing, everything's going to be tied on from A to Z, and I'll usually reline every single one of them that night. But the problem is, it's the FG knots. It's when you sit there and you rig, like up north, I was rigging 15 spinning rods for the derbies up there, and it was like 15 FG knots. So I feel like I probably have a buck tooth right now from holding that line in my mouth. Like, you get done and you're just like I got to push that tooth back in. I mean, you were holding that line for so long. But no, I keep it confined to the boat mostly. But no, there will be tackle laid out in the boat. It'll look like a mess, and then it's like I'll have a cardboard box, and I'll have a junk pile of baits from after practice, and I'll basically just throw all those baits in that box, and I won't see those again for probably 6 months. After I get to the house, and I'll reorganize and be like, dang, I was wondering where that top water was at.
Dude, that's hilarious. I got a cardboard box in the back of my truck right now with 75 baits in it that need to just be sorted out.
Easily believable. I'll have like a Pepsi box. Like, it was just like, I bought some Pepsis for that tournament. I'm just throwing baits in there, spinner baits, chatter baits. I mean, it's just in used tackle. Who knows what it's laying around.
Shout out to our guys at Flambeau, by the way, for if you like to use that technique of tackle storage, which I do the same, because I'll take the piles of baits off the deck of my Bass Cat and just put them into an empty Flambeau quotient box. It works great because you can just grab a handful of all the baits that are on the floor, put them in that quotient box with no trays in it, lock it down, and you're all of a sudden more organized, kind of.
Dishes are done.
Yeah. I love that. You are more organized, but it's like that one box is rough. I mean, that's like, I got a co-angler tomorrow, and I'm like,
that's the box you got to bring in the house to organize.
Yeah, he's going to get tetanus if he sits in that chair right now. So it's like, just throw it away almost.
That's awesome.
Oh, my God.
I love it. It's funny. You have 75 lures in a box, and that's a lot. I have 75 boxes with miscellaneous lures sitting around from lack of organization on my end. It's
Pete, how many boxes of lizards do you have?
That's a great
I feel like you've got about 4 boxes of lizards, like 6-inch, 8-inch, even got the 5-inch,
Dude,
and then the 4-inch mini.
I feel like I'm one of the few people that still has lizard boxes, man.
I still have a lizard box. They bite a lizard still.
Oh, yeah,
Carolina,
I know.
oh, ball and chain.
Oh
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I like people like they gave up on it. They got a brush hog and they got a beaver and they forgot about the lizard shape.
I feel like they hardly throw a brush hog nowadays as well. The brush hog's even kind of dwindling a little bit. It's everybody's throwing creatures nowadays. Like, look at the beaver. I mean, nobody even flips a beaver as much as they used to. It's a jig or something like that now.
Yeah, it's changed. It's radical. I like it. What's old is new again, and I love that. Let me ask you this: your strengths and weaknesses. How you guys? What do you think about that? Justin, I know you're new, right? You're going to be. I know you have a feel for your strengths, and I keep pushing you to try to identify your strengths. And you're going to be learning them as you go through this big adventure you're about to go on. Patrick, you've had quite a few years to hone in what your strengths are. How are we going to merge? Think we can merge these two out on the tournament trail?
I definitely think so. All I need Justin to help me with is to teach me a little bit of patience. If he can slow me down a little bit, I think I'm going to be much better off. Because listen, I'm an impatient person. And on the water, I'm like extremely ADD. I'm like ready to go. I'm like, all right, they're not biting. Let's go. Like, I just need to learn to just kind of take a deep breath and just go fishing. And that's what I've been doing the last couple of years. But it's hard to sometimes, when those first couple of bites don't pan out, you start running around. It's you get those wheels turning. I just need to kind of lock some brakes on them.
Yeah. Can you bring some patience to the table, JK?
Man, honestly, I feel like there's an element to that I fish with my trolling motor. Like, I'm comfortable when my trolling motor's on 5, right? I'm not burn it up. I can be like, if I know I have to cover water or if I'm running and gunning stuff on herring lakes and stuff, I try to speed myself up. But yeah, if I've identified a group of fish and it served me well this year, that they didn't bite what I thought they were going to bite or do what I thought they were going to do, I gave them a chance and I tried to figure out what the change was, and tried to keep them honest. And I was willing to put, if it's an area, an extra hour or more into that in a tournament day. So maybe that can rub off. But, probably the biggest level of patience that I can bring is I've probably been married a lot longer than young Patrick has. So So I've probably learned a lot more patience than he has.
The bad thing is, too, my philosophy with fishing is I compare fishing to women. Listen, if she ain't in the right mood, I don't care what you say or what you do, it ain't happening. So it's the same thing.
Timing is everything, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead.
Timing is everything. So
Right.
listen, if that fish is not in the right mood and he's not biting,
She
just go find another one. One will be willing to bite. That'll get you in trouble.
And that might be where Patrick can help me. I've been a one-woman man pretty much my whole life. So
did he just suggest that you need to go find one that's willing to go?
I'm fish. We're talking about fish now. We're going to clarify.
and sometimes you just got to show it to them, right?
Honey, if you're watching, I'm talking about fishing.
Man, we're not talking about Kimball's balls.
Oh my God.
We just went off the tracks.
And we're canceled.
Somebody say something about a lizard.
Oh my God.
We need to get those at the Bass University. We need to talk to Kat. We need to get that recipe. We need to get some of those supplied.
Oh yeah, man. Those peanut or oat things, those who was it? I think it's Mike Reed. He loves those things. I brought him a couple tournaments we fished together.
Oh, Alabama Mike. What's Mike doing these days?
catching fat bags. He's fishing the regional at Waukita. He's going to O.H. Ivy this weekend.
Waukita.
Where's
that at?
I always call it Ouachita. Excuse me.
Ouachita.
I always
Lake Ouachita in Arkansas?
Yeah, he's got the regional there for BFL. Pete's fishing the
okay.
Pete's fishing the Potomac Regional next week. Mike's fishing Ouachita, and then I fish the St. John's. So we're trying to get our Bass U guys at the All-American. That's Project All-American at Bass U.
I like that. Project All-American.
Hey, man.
Yeah, we're close. Yeah, so
sounds like another
really
trip
busy.
I'm going to get left out of.
Dude, you should come to the BFLs with us this year.
Yeah.
Brought the Ike Live boat.
Yeah, you should invite me. Hey, we're signed up for BFL.
Fish out of the Ike Live boat, Brian.
Yeah, yeah. I might be dragging it to Gunnersville. So anyhow.
Yeah. Dude, we're gonna. Do you want to take a quick break here, BTC? Are we ready?
Almost. Except for I'm out of commercials.
Run them again.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I get the same commercial every time the Elite Series takes their 20-minute potty break. You know, it's like the same commercial.
So you want to say goodbye to Patrick here, Peter?
What's that?
We're saying goodbye to Patrick and moving on to our next guest, right?
Yeah, I guess we are. I hate to say goodbye to Patrick. He's such a great guest, and,
Yes.
and we love having you on the show.
Yes, indeed.
And wish you the best of luck. Did they announce the schedule yet?
Mm-mm.
They have not. But guys, I greatly appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to next year. They have not announced the schedule, but looking forward to seeing where it's at.
Yeah.
Might hear
Well, we're
some
looking
tonight.
forward to watching you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to, we're gonna need like secret text and emails to let us know what JK's really like out on the road. We need to know the scoop. We'll be counting on you for that. We'll be rooting for you on the elites. We'll be rooting for you on the NPFL. And I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us tonight, as always, buddy. It's great to see you.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me. If you need anything, I look forward to talking with y'all soon.
We'll have you at Bass University this year. Patrick Walters, according to Ken Duke, the best angler on the Bassmaster Elites right now.
That's correct.
Based on stat.
Yeah.
Yeah. With statistics are everything, man. And he's the best. So BTC, going to rerun those commercials, take a quick break and come back, or are we going to roll?
That is correct.
Right in.
Pete.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with the guys that are making the NPFL happen. This tournament trail that, it was new last year. We didn't know what was going to happen. They're coming into season 2 strong. Got a great crop of new anglers entering the tournament trail. Some different ideas, some new ideas. Going to be talking with those guys here in just a minute, right after this.
Aquaview, the leader in underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. Aquaview. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick. Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
We're different. Some would say obsessed. There's no place on earth we'd rather be than right here, right now. performance-driven gear, so you can fish longer, harder. Gills Performance Fishing.
2021 Red Crest champion Dustin Connell here, and if you watch live coverage, we just got done at Lake Eufaula. I caught my fish using the active target with Lowrance. What you didn't see is I run a Sea Clear power harness in my boat. One of the main advantages to running this harness is it does not drain my batteries down at all running my 4 units. And what that's going to allow me to do is I'm able to see my bait at 8 a.m. just as good late in the day. Y'all check them out at seaclearpower.com.
Well, that commercial was shorter than Pete's pee break. So,
We're back. Welcome back. Apparently, I'm doing the dishes that next year, guys.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm going to be doing lots of dishes. I just hope I get meals in return, you know?
Well, you got to be doing the dishes of something. They're not empty dishes. Not gonna clean dishes.
Well, we're back. I don't know who else is joining us, but we have the wonderful NPFL. What's your NPFL title, Paul? We got Paul Benson with us. He's a friend of the show. You've seen him before.
Yeah.
We're waiting on Pete to get back, but yeah, Paul, thanks for joining us. Pete, we're live, buddy. I just introduced Paul.
The man, Mr. Cash and Rods, Mr. NPFL, the great Paul Benson. How are you, buddy?
I'm wonderful. How about y'all? I thought we were all at commercial break. Sorry about that. Sorry for my unprofessionalness there for a second.
That's just a normal for us.
Where's my boss? Is he not in there yet?
No, balls ain't here yet.
Hold on a second.
I messaged him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're living the dream.
Where are
We're
you at,
excited.
Paul? Are you at home?
Dallas, Georgia. So we've got the big Pittman Creek Distributor Show this weekend. Right now, the ASA, American Sport Fishing Association Summit's going on down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm guessing our good friend Ken Duke is down there.
No doubt, without a doubt.
That's a big deal in the industry. Not enough people pay attention to the ASA. We need to fix that, boys. How do we fix that?
Well, you just did, bringing awareness to it, and
wonderful.
And I'm just sending out a memo to everybody in my company saying, why aren't we at the ASA Summit? We were supposed to be there this year. And,
Naples.
Yep. BTC, you were in charge of making sure we were all there this year.
How dare you deflect?
Come on, man.
Onto me. I'm not even an employee, man. I'm a subcontractor, get brought in to do all the heavy lifting and then miss out on the fun.
Oh man, we should be all having fun down there in the ASA Summit, and shout out to Ken. I know it's a great organization. We're happy to work with them and participate in any way we can.
Except for this year.
Except for this year, you know
what happened?
I don't know what happened. I'm just, Paul's bringing it up to me right now. As a matter of fact, I was sending out messages tomorrow saying, hey, what's going on with the ASA Summit? I don't have track of the dates, but you know what? It's not coming through my email. And I don't know why that I'm not getting notifications or requests to submit a registration. So
from the ASA?
Yeah.
I can address that. I'm on the membership committee, or at least I was on the membership committee before I didn't go to the meeting this week. I don't think we get kicked off for that, but just overlapped with a lot of stuff. But back to the business of Bass University. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Riz. Riz, your shirt looks awesome tonight. But thank you all for doing what you do day in and day out. I always tell people the best way to learn about bass fishing, they're like, oh man, you get to rub elbows with this guy and get to and like, you must know all about it. No, the only secret there is in our industry, it is such a small, tight-knit group in our industry. The only true secret is the best way to learn how to be a better bass fisherman is Bass University. That's it.
My man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you being our voice out there. And, you know, as we are, because we're all out there also promoting Cash and Rods. And we've got so many of us that are using our Cash and Rods. We're in the BFL regionals in the next couple of weeks.
Who's all won? Who's all won this year? And I appreciate the shout out for the rods you're using. Y'all don't just talk about fishing; y'all actually do it. Who's all put themselves in that position for the All-American?
First of all, Paul, it's use guys when you address us up here. I think we've talked about that before.
Y'all.
Did we get that squared away?
Well, out in Texas, we have Mike Reed competing on the Lake Ouachita for the BFLs, and Mike is one of the best reps for Bass University. And of course, Justin Kimmel is going to be down in Florida on the St. Johns River in 2 weeks, trying to make it to the All-American. And I will be on the Potomac River next week, competing for the regional, or competing to get into the All-American. I've never been to the All-American. I've never fished the entire BFL season until Professional Fish had forced me into it this year. And
I'm happy we did, because you won Angler of the Year, and it's been a heck of a ride, Pete. You've been fishing awesome this year.
It's been a blast, Paul. I meet people all over that love Bass University, that love casting fishing rods. These are the guys that love our products, and they're all out there in the BFLs and the Federation stuff and the weekend stuff, and it's really awesome to be able to get out there and visit with everybody.
Little tidbit about Mike Reed. My first ever open as a co-angler, I drew Mike Reed at Smith Lake.
Wow. That's his backyard. But I don't think he had
I was so excited. It was a Georgia boy. I was gonna get, then I found out he was like born and grew up there.
Yeah.
It was gonna be awesome.
And then he didn't catch him probably. I don't think he had a good tournament there. I think he had a top 10 open in Alabama, but it wasn't Smith. I think it might have been Logan.
He went with a very diverse plan, which seeing what his plan was, he was swinging for the fences. He executed well. The fish didn't cooperate. He was flipping at Smith in like March, maybe something like that. Not a lot of stuff that people do. It taught me a lot. Like, he taught me a lot about Smith. He taught me a lot about practice at the opens as a co. And I fished like 3 years on the opens or 2 years on the opens. My whole goal was to understand tournament fishing to the point where I could sell fishing rods to folks. Here, probably 10, 12 years later, maybe, it has paid off to help me do what we do day in and day out with the anglers at our events at the NPFL. So I'm extremely thankful for that time to get to spend with the anglers over there at the opens, and get to figure out a little bit of how to do this over here to help anglers out.
Well, Paul, I got to say it's great, and what you do in the industry is amazing, and you've done something amazing. You're at the forefront of this. You started the NPFL.
The conception was Al McCullough, and Al pulled in Brad, and I got pulled in afterward. I just want to make sure not to split words, but the conception and the inception was Al's idea, and we were pretty much on the front side of it. But yeah.
You guys meet in the beard chat room, Paul?
Yeah.
You and Brad? Sorry.
Brad and I are unbelievable. Like, we are. If I had a brother separated at birth, it would be Brad Fuller. I promise you. We're Buckeyes. do not begin to play around when it comes to the Buckeyes and the Ohio State University. That's actually why we are the National Professional Fishing League.
Yes.
There is no joke,
that's awesome.
So we're both
it.
Ohio boys. There he is, Brad Fuller. Ladies and gentlemen.
I see him now. We have Paul Benson. We have Brad Fuller has now joined us, and we're so happy to have you guys. You brought the NPFL to us last year, and we're going into year number 2. It's amazing. You've done some amazing things, and I appreciate you guys being here with us tonight.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks for having me on, guys. I was listening to Paul ramble while we were trying to get me in the room here. So I agree, man. It's scary and I talked to Brian earlier about this, man. I am most thankful for the relationships. Everything that's happened, right? If we shut the doors on this thing right now, right, we close it up. I have made friends with anglers and people in the industry that I will cherish for the rest of my life, right? And knowing and understanding that, and realizing that, and taking a moment to appreciate that, man, I've had the opportunity to do some amazing things in my life, right? And this is by far the hardest thing I've ever done, hands down, no doubt about it. And when you sit back now and reflect on the 6 events and what we went hard, right? It wasn't easy. Nobody gave us anything. We went out there and took and earned everything that we got. And I'm super, super proud of the people we have around us. And I'm super proud of the crop of anglers we have coming in next year, because I think the family grows. And that's a great thing. And I'm really excited to see what Justin and Patrick and all these other guys think about what we're doing. I think they're going to love it because it really means something. It's special. I can't put my finger on it. I'm not trying to, but man, I'm very excited about what the NPFL is bringing to the fishing world. We say getting back to the roots, and we got some cliche kind of things we throw out there, but man, it's just bass fishing, right? It's just running tournaments. It's being together. It's helping each other, and it's wanting to go out there and stomp a mud hole when every competitor you fish against is behind in, but being willing to help them. That's a special thing, man. And culture is the hardest thing to foster. And I'm super proud of what Paul and Al and Michelle and the anglers, we didn't do this by ourselves. The culture we fostered is the thing I cherish the most. And I'm excited for Justin and you guys to have a back, kind of front row seat to see how that all goes down.
Well, it's been amazing. And we saw Keith and Taylor come on and just rave about you guys. Like like you said, the culture, Brad, the family that you're building, and like those two recognizing how hard you and Paul and all the guys at the NPFL are working. It inspired them. They're thrilled to be part of the program, and that starts with you guys.
Yeah, man, it's one thing to build it. It's one thing to start there. It's another thing to maintain it, right? Like that's the challenge in front of us. That's what we're talking about for 2022 is we've got it going. Like I feel it, Paul feels it. We talk about it all the time. And man, it's really easy, Pete. It's because we legitimately care, right? When the guy's broken down on the ramp there, Sean Murphy had a problem with his trim motor. We had 4 staff guys, myself, Watson came over and even put his little beaters on the motor and was trying to help. And actually, I'll give Watson credit. Like, he's the one that actually broke the code on what was wrong with it. So shout out worldwide, Mr. Maintenance Man. He goes, that's the extent of my knowledge. I'm out. But he did fix it. And it was Sean Murphy. And Sean said, man, I really appreciate you guys being there. I was like, dude, that's just the right thing to do. You know what I mean? It's easy to know the right thing to do, and sometimes it's hard to do, right? And we want to be the guys who take that extra step and really go out of our way to make these guys understand that we legitimately care about each and every one of them. And it's contagious, right? It flows from angler to angler, the families, the wives, stopping to say hello to a group of wives standing there and, hey man, you don't know what's going on in their day, right? This is a tough, grindy kind of sport. It's very competitive. There's a lot of money on the line, but us being available to take phone calls 24/7, to talk anglers down, to talk anglers up when we have to. But again, the easy part's behind us. The hard part is to maintain that and keep that, fostering that culture as we introduce new people into the sport within the NPFL.
Well, my goodness, you have drawn huge names. Maintaining, you've advanced. You haven't maintained. You've advanced. You've had a great year one. A lot of great participation, but now your field is more than full with a big waiting list, and you've drawn some of the biggest names in the sport of fishing. That's not maintaining. That's advancing. That's a tremendous accomplishment.
Well, I think my point, Pete, is, and Paul, weigh in on this if you want to, but sometimes that can be a challenge, right? Because, look, Hackney and Walters and Buddy and a lot of these guys coming in, they've got a a mental picture of how bass fishing looks, of how bass fishing feels. I'm a little concerned. I've had long Justin and I spoke a lot about him joining. I know what a big decision this is for guys like Justin and Hackney and Walters and every one of the 20 guys that are on our list. I know what a big deal this is, right? I'm empathetic to their cost. I was out there in the coasters running around trying to do my thing. So I understand what it means to commit to do something like this. And my job is and Paul's job and the ownership, the whole company's job is to serve our customers, which are the anglers, with every morsel of blood, sweat, and tears, pouring it in there because we owe them that. And look, man, we make mistakes every single day. We're not infallible. But no one will ever say that we didn't work really hard to do the best we can do. It's about the effort, right? Because it's easier for Justin or Patrick to kind of give us a little bit of, a little slack, if you will, if I'm out there sweating and blood pouring out of, 5 gaping holes in my body, if they know that I was out there pouring it out for them. And that's what we owe them. And that's what we're going to give them, regardless of where this thing goes or what happens. That will never change as long as I have anything to do with the NPFL.
The hardest job we have day in and day out all year is showing the industry, the anglers, and the fans how we're different. And when we first started, everybody said, well, we don't need a third league. We don't need our job is to show everyone how we are different. It's a very difficult task to do through a podcast like this. It's a I tell everybody, you come there, you see it, you watch it firsthand. Everybody sees how that culture has changed and how that culture is different. I'm not saying better. Make sure that you qualify that and quantify that to the nth degree. We are not saying we're better than anybody. We are providing a different opportunity for anglers to make money. I hear a lot of guys reference it. I did not personally speak with Greg Hackney, but through Brad, Hackney had multiple phone calls where he said, man, I just want to come fish. I just want to come fish and make some money. And I want to be the dude in the middle of everybody else. I don't want any special privilege, and that's what we focus on. And that's what we pride ourselves on, is that everybody's got an opportunity to get out there and do it. In relation to the culture of helping folks and assisting folks, we have helped guys get trucks and trailers home. We have helped guys, if you name it, we're out there assisting folks, taking tools to them, doing everything we can legitimately and evenly. One of the things from an ownership standpoint, Brad, myself, Al, and Michelle, another hard thing is saying no to somebody in relation to something, because we may or may not be able to do it for all. If we can't do it for 125 guys, we're not gonna do it. Like towing that line and making sure that we treat everyone equally and fairly across the board is a difficult thing to navigate, because you want to help everybody. The beautiful part about it, Saturday was a great example. Brandon Perkins had an issue. Chance Woodard and his girlfriend Sarah were on the way to tow him in. Sheldon Collins went and picked up fish. Brandon said when Sheldon came in to get his fish, because Sheldon and Brandon checked in at the same time and Sheldon knew he was already late, he said Sheldon came in so hot and grabbed his fish, he thought it was like a military operation or something, and he saved every minute he could for Brandon. Seeing that kind of fellowship between the anglers is where our pride lies. Seeing Keith and Taylor talk tonight about how good they felt after the first season, because Brad and I both will be the first to tell you, we have screwed up, and we do screw up every day. It's not about how you screw up, it's about how you fix the screw up in the long run and how you take care of folks. And we strive to do that better and better every day.
Wow. That's impressive, JK. I'm excited for you to go out and fish this tournament trail. You've got a couple of really strong leaders here building a great tournament trail for you.
Yeah, man, it really feels like you're stepping into kind of a support system. So for a rookie like me, as Paul has already liked to call me, I'm crazy. I am green, dude. I'm a rookie as far as it is with a boat. I got something break on a boat. Like, I'm learning everything still, you know, and I'm continuing. And so that's one of the biggest, you know, and we talked about the whole confidence thing. The fishing stuff's finally there, but like getting your boat squared away, having things happen, and hearing some of these stories firsthand from some of the guys that I know, about guys that we're talking to, not just some of the volunteers or some of their members. Like, these guys are getting in there and helping guys too. You know, I've you know, we all heard the story about Landon Tucker's boat keys getting lost, and one of you guys lended a boat to him or something for a day.
Brad lent him his boat, and then Brad found the keys later. Like that's the perfect storm. We've had curveballs thrown at us all year. Not to cut you off, but we got a guy out of Ohio named Drew Six. Brad, how many motors or how many boats do you think Drew Six laid hands on for other anglers this year? Just a ballpark.
I don't know, man. 50.
Yeah. There's an angler who does that for a living, and he helped 50 guys, maybe the same guy multiple times, but 50 times while he's competing. I know I was with him in a campground when he was working on two guys' boats side by side till 10 o'clock one night while he's competing.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So just having that, getting to know that culture and getting that firsthand, you know, I talked to Keith a lot before, you know, I knew Keith probably the best of all the, you know, guys, you know, the original 105 that were fishing this year. And, you know, he just firsthand was when integrity is the first quality that gets consistently brought up, then, you know, that sat well with me. And I really feel like I'm walking into a support system, and I can't wait to just be a part of that culture. That's a kind of a culture that I want to be a part of, that I want to have around my own house with my own kids and stuff, you know, putting others first and helping people. And, you know, it's different, you know, because you're still kind of, you know, I mean, competition is cutthroat, and it's, you know, I've seen, you know, I've fished an open and Toyotas and stuff like that. I've seen some really just hardcore competition out there, you know, but knowing that the guy who cuts me off can be the guy who gets my fish back to the, you know, after breaking in, that's still kind of cool, you know, even if it pisses me off.
I think, man, when we talked about the one of the big things that we wanted to foster was that culture and that mentality. And look, guys, you know, the tournament director and owner, you know, we've sunk everything into this, right? This is my entire life, right? Like, I don't come from money. I don't have a trust fund that I'm pulling out of to make this happen. So that's why you see the work too, right? Like, this is my dream. This is what I want. And Paul and I feel the same way. And when you see guys start to hold each other accountable on the water, in the restaurants, at the boat ramps, leading by example, that's when you know you've got something, right? When the masses start to do those things for you. It's not us. I'm not out there policing things. You know what I mean? Like, anglers are self-reporting, all those things. But man, I think the other thing is surrounding ourselves with the right people. You know, Luke and Dudley and Fat Cat and Watson, like, if you notice, there's a common thread between everybody we surround ourselves with, and that's vital to the operation. And we really don't let people inside the circle very easy. So, with cause. But man, you know, Luke's growth in that seat, Fat Cat's growth, we dumped him in the live studio. We didn't know how that was going to go. He didn't know how it was going to go, but, you know, he dug in and crushed it this week, stepping in for Dudley and Watson jumping in. But I'm excited. And here's the icing on the cake for us. The competition on the NPFL this year was freaking amazing.
Yeah.
There were a lot of surprises, man. We didn't know what we had, right? Like, all these guys, we knew they were pretty good. But man, when you watch these guys go about their business and how they work and their skills, guys, if you get to go back and watch any of the coverage, watch Taylor Watson skip that jig around docks. You know, it reminded me of David Williams, right? Like he was that smooth and effortless. You know, he was fishing the backs of those docks, but he was getting his big bites on what we call the one hole, right? The first hole up off the back of the dock and skipping it all the way across to the other side and covering that water. And Pete, you mentioned something earlier about fish replenishing. You know, I fish Lake of the Ozarks a lot. I don't think those fish replenish. I just don't think you could fish that dock all day and maybe not get your jig where one or two fish on that dock could see it, because these are really big docks. So his ability to get that jig in places that maybe other guys couldn't, I think was the single biggest factor that led to his win. And I called it after day 2. I said, I watched him fish. I was like, with those storms coming, with what we're going to get, like Taylor Watkins is going to win this event. And there's 50 other dudes like him out there, man. There's a lot of really, really skilled anglers that we gave a chance.
It was really satisfying for me this weekend to see how everything played out. I promise you, like Brad, Michelle's one of the most organized people I know, and I'm terrible at organization. You folks know that. I'm going to call you 5 minutes ago and be like, hey, we're changing this. Brad is Brad has planned different things across the globe to the nth degree. We plan for everything. No way we could have planned for the storm that we experienced. No way we could have planned for Brandon Perkins and his misfortune on Saturday. Like we plan for everything, and we talk about it 20 times. We were thrown every curveball in the world, and I say this with no ego, but we handled it pretty good. There's going to be bigger curveballs down the road. There's going to be more of them, but having that confidence to say, hey guys, we got it covered and we're going to take it covered. We did 6 events, a full trailered weigh-in with 100 or more guys at every event, with about 10, 11 people at each one. And I say that it's actually 111, because when we ask an angler to do something or to help us, a good example of that is in Florida. We had Bradley Holman sit in. Bradley Holman's jumping in trucks and pulling trucks through. You may or may not have seen that, but we didn't ask Bradley to do that. Brad was talking about who we surrounded ourselves with. Bradley took it upon himself to jump in somebody's truck, pull through the line because he saw a need. We have that not just with the 4 folks who are putting this thing on, and the 8 to 10 folks that are standing behind us, supporting us all across the country, but the 100 and now 25 anglers, Luke, Fat Cat, Dudley, Watson. We called Watson on the drop of a hat. He said, "Hey boys, I'm there." He said, "How much does it pay?" And then he said, "I'm there," but you don't know Watson.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead, Pete.
I'm sorry. The tournament director and tournament organizations, it's a tough job. It's a tough job. Whatever decision you make, half the people are going to hate you and half the people are going to agree with you. What are some of the tough ones? What are some of the toughest things that you had to decide on the course of this year? Because it was all new to you. Man. There must have been some tough things out there for you.
So I'll quantify that a little bit, and this may scare the daylights out of some people that joined up without knowing this. I never ran a bass tournament in my life, ever. had fished a bunch of them, had never been on the organization side. Been around them a lot, but I'd never actually ran one. Had never been a tournament director. Had never adjudicated. But, man, I went back to, treat the number one guy in the field, your AOI, and you treat the guy in dead last exactly the same. Right? You read the rules, you apply the rules across the board, take the name out of it, and you look at the situation, you apply the rules, you apply penalties as they have to be applied, and you move on. I'll be honest, Pete, it wasn't that hard. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't fun, but as far as knowing what was right and wrong, it really wasn't. There were a couple little things that happened here and there that were head scratchers, right? And look, man, I'm a tournament angler, right? I know how painful making that phone call and having that conversation with Brandon Perkins. I didn't know 100% that he was going to lose AOI, but I knew that it was going to be really, really close. He ended up losing AOI by 1 point to Keith. Oh. So I was hyper focused on trying to get his fish in, because if he could have saved 6-8 ounces and moved up one place, then we go to tiebreaker. And the tiebreaker was cumulative weight for the year. And I kind of thought Keith might have that, but I know Brandon had some higher finishes. But at least I wanted to get him in so he had a chance. It didn't work out that way. He only had 10 pounds. He had an 11-pound penalty, so he ended up zeroing. And then applying penalties to guys that didn't understand the rules. It was amazing to me. Justin, go read the rules. It was amazing to me. It was amazing to me the guys that didn't know the rules, and you having to explain rules to them after they have dedicated, call it 50 grand to go out and compete.
Well, I can tell you this: the carpenter will never read the rules ever.
No, but I'll talk to somebody and they'll tell me the rules. That I will do. Probably.
I have read the rules 5, maybe 6 times. I had John Cruz told me one time, this was earlier this year, and I can't remember what brought this up, but I think it was a past experience I had with a different tournament organization that didn't sit well with me. And he said, listen here, I mean, that sucks. We all go through things that suck. But, dude, you know the rules as good or better than the people who have to initiate them and put them in place. You know those things backwards and forwards. And I took that to heart for sure, you know, because there's differences. There's minor differences in all different organizations, you know, and you might think, you know, can you cull a dead fish? You know, you probably didn't know it, but you can cull a dead fish in BFLs, I'm pretty sure. You know, but in a lot of everything else, you can't. You know, so there's just different. You got to know.
One I got this week, a bunch, guys, is hey, I've got a lure stuck on the dock, like, you know, on a cable or something. Can I get out of my boat and go retrieve my lure? And I said, hey, man, the rule says you cannot leave your boat to land the fish. It says nothing about you leaving your boat to retrieve a lure. And another question, I said, hey, my lure is hung. Can I make another cast with a rod that is in my boat? So I can lay this rod down, my lure is hung. And I said, is your lure touching the water? Because there's a difference. Our rule says if your lure is out of the water, so it's not in the water, out of the water, you can make another cast. If your lure is in the water, you cannot make another cast until you retrieve that lure, break it off.
Yep.
So, you know, again, knowing and understanding those rules, a lot of guys just call, you know what I mean? And that's fine. But, you know, you need to have an understanding of what is or isn't legal within the confines of what the NPFL does for our tournaments. And here's the deal, guys. I don't know if you guys know this. I did not want to be tournament director this year, right? I did not want to have that on my plate as well. I do all the production stuff. I move the cameras around on the water. I work with our production facility in Wisconsin. I do a lot of logistics stuff with Al and Paul. But it just worked out where I couldn't find the right guy, right? I had a very specific way I wanted our organization to run from the tournament director side. I have found that guy for next year. I will not be tournament director next year. But he is cut from the same cloth as Paul and I. And I'm very excited to get, he's got some other obligations. We're not going to announce it until he's on contract, and those other obligations are behind him. But we're very excited about adding another member, a little mini Paul to the field, to the team here.
It's actually Brad's Beard's the tournament director for next year.
I was actually the first tournament director, and if you can believe it, the anglers simultaneously voted that down.
Right. Well,
I will.
And here's the great.
I will say this, Justin. I will say this. After tonight's viewing of you and Patrick's conversation, we will be adding rule number 182, subsection G. Shorts must touch the kneecap.
Yes. No good.
I'm fine with that, man. I'm fine with that.
Nobody wants to see that mess.
Hey, man. Look, man, I almost wanted to put this, and dude, just seeing you guys go back and forth, man. You guys are going to be a great entity to add to the NPFL, right? At its core, what you will see is, I tell guys all the time, like, man, if we're not out here having fun, right, we can rib each other and ride each other, but man, we should be laughing. If you guys notice our coverage, like, I want guys to cut up and have fun, right? And we're not here to offend people or, do things that are off color. But man, if we can't enjoy ourselves and have fun doing this, I don't want to do it. I mean, I just don't. And I want you guys to have fun. And man, when I got to talk to Patrick on the phone, I thought, man, I really hope he does this. Not because he's Patrick Walters and Ken Duke says he's the best angler that ever walked the face of the earth, or statistically right now he is the best, because he's a good dude, right? Like he's a good person, and that's who I want here.
Yep, I like that.
Well, you guys got a great group. So we'd like to hear you announce right now your tournament sites for next year.
So, Brian,
there's 6 of them,
and Paul and I were texting, and I hope you guys will respect this a little bit. I promised the anglers that they would have the full schedule before we announce it to anybody. The anglers do not have the full schedule, but Paul, with your concurrence, I will announce the states we're going to.
Ooh.
I mean, is that enough of a nugget? Is that good enough for Bash U?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yes.
Let's shoot. We'll take Luke Duncan scraps. Go ahead.
Yeah, these are in no particular order, right? So we will be in Florida next year, right? I will say this about Florida: I'm pretty sure no one is going to do what we're going to do in Florida next year. Ooh. So I'll just leave that out there. Again, no time frames, no dates. We're going to be in the great state of Ohio next year.
Whoa!
Right. So I'm sure you guys have heard all the glory about the Ohio River. I grew up on the Ohio River. I'm not saying we're going there, but we will be in the state of Ohio next year.
Dear Lord, I hope.
I said Sandusky Bay is the Ohio destination.
If I hear Pennsylvania on this list, wait,
what would you do?
On the waiting list?
Yeah. What would you do?
What would you do, Rich?
My name would probably go on the waiting list.
All right, so Riz, you can save the email, bro. Pennsylvania's not on there.
Okay.
We are going to be in North Carolina next year.
Oh, cool.
Sharon Harris is my guess.
I like that.
We're gonna. Hey, I got to spend some time on Sharon Harris for a crew weekend down there, man. That place is ridiculous, but maybe. Tennessee. There's so many diverse fisheries in the state of Tennessee. I feel like we could go there every year and not fish the same type body of water. So you guys know we're going there for Nick and Jack's going to be the championship here in a few weeks. But we will be back in the state of Tennessee.
So it's going to be Chickamauga. Go ahead.
Okay. Listen, I have a disdain for Chickamauga, so I'll just leave that out there. I'm not saying it's not Chickamauga. It's not the chick, but Chick has gotten so much pressure, man. Dennis did such a good job promoting that fish dating that it's just, man, it's seen its fair share of tournaments. I'm not saying we won't be there, but there's been a lot of venues go there. We'll probably be somewhere else.
We'll go to Chickamauga when Keith Carson can pronounce it.
We're going to be in the great state of Kentucky next year.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the last one is why we're holding up the schedule is we're either going to be in Michigan or we're going to be in New York. So you guys can pontificate on that and rub two nickels together and see if you can figure it out.
Well, can I interject without giving up too much, Brad?
Probably not, but go ahead.
We're not going to North Carolina. We're going to South Carolina.
South Carolina. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry about that.
I like that better.
I was like, yeah. Wait a second. What? We're going to North Carolina? Missed that memo.
Yeah, it is South Carolina.
JK, did I just hear that it's possible the Lake Hartwell could be on the schedule next year? Did I just hear that?
I mean, they'd have to be on the South Carolina side. That's a border. Like it could be Clark Hill, which Clark Hill's on fire.
Hey, I gotta cut you off real quick. I gotta cut you off real quick for all the anglers watching and for all the anglers who are watching next year. so we're really careful about this. Our information rule, the way that it's stated, the minute we announce it, it's cut off. So guys are no longer allowed to get or talk about information on any lake in Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee. All those lakes are off limits per our rules currently. So until we announce the specific lakes, y'all have to talk about fisheries in Idaho or California.
Yeah.
Or New Jersey. New Jersey,
yeah.
you can talk about those all
There
day.
are no fisheries in New Jersey.
I hope to go to I hope to go to Jersey someday for something.
So
A lot of people
BTC,
spend
I
the summers on the
apologize,
river.
man. I hope you guys, Paul and I discussed it, and so we were ready to drop a couple nuggets on you. The other thing that we really hold is a level playing field, right? Is keeping things level across the board, so everybody has equal opportunity and all that stuff. So again, apologies for dumping more of the schedule on you. We were ready to dump a couple, and I'm like, man, that probably isn't fair to the field. So we're going to hold that back until we're ready to dump the whole thing. We really hope, but this leads to something else. Those parochial mindsets that go on in bass fishing, right? Those old school, it's always been this way. This is the way it's done. Guys, we're 6 months away from our first tournament for 2022, right? So we don't feel pressure to get our schedule out. I know everybody wants to know it. Hey, man, everybody's had theirs out in August, this, that, and the other. I get it, but, man, we just don't – we want it to be really good and right, not right now. So but trust me, as soon as the schedule's done, we're not holding on to it. We're not holding over anybody's head. But you know, we're gonna do our due diligence and make sure that the schedule is rock solid before we announce it. You won't see us announce a lake and then move it, unless there's some kind of catastrophic, you know, deal going on there where we have to. But we're going to be locked in on all these venues before we announce anything.
Well, if I have any say, I would like to see you guys. You said it. You might go to New York, and if I would say that you guys should put this in the rules that you should go to New York, and you should have an exemption for anybody that might be the dean of the Bass University to participate.
Well, I tell you what, Pete. We'll put it to a vote to the field. If they vote you in, buddy, we'll let it happen. How about that?
I will tell you this, Pete. If we do come to New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, anywhere within 100 miles of you, I would love to extend an invite for you to share a little bit of time one day with Luke Duncan for a little while.
Love to.
I did not ask Brad or Al or Michelle on that. Just so everybody knows, Michelle is the boss. Like if we have one of those pyramids, it's like Michelle, Brad, and it depends on what time of day it is. Sometimes before breakfast it's Brad, and then after breakfast it's Michelle. He can explain all that better. And then it's Al and I, and that pyramid goes down that way. But we got a lot of people to thank, and we'll get to that at the end. Brad, what do we got in a month? Not to hijack y'all's podcast, but do y'all want to talk about what we got going on in a month and what people are going to see in the great state of Tennessee?
A championship.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard Keith talking about it and Taylor. Yeah, man, we're gonna go to Nickajack in November, like deep November. Not like we're not just skirting into November. You know, our tournament days will be mid-November, 11, 12, 13. I am very, very excited about that venue at that time of year. And if you guys notice, like a thing with our schedule is if we go to a lake that has been visited, we want to go there at a different time, right? Like we were in Florida in June, and the week after we left, it took a single day weight of 32 pounds. We just missed a phenomenal bite down there in Florida in June. I mean, it still took over 60 to win our event. But you know, we want to be on places that don't get highlighted at different times of the year. And Pete, I know, you know, we talked a long time ago, the fall fishing deal, man, you know, Grand Lake kind of showed out. It's fishing better than it ever has. That fishery is on a severe upswing for fish quality. You know, it took over 50 to win our event down there for a 3-day wait in really a really rough time of year. So, you know, we want to be on places that are just a little off maybe from when you would typically see them there. Because we think that's interesting to true tournament anglers, right? Like, hey man, this place just isn't good in March, or this place just isn't good in April. Like these fisheries have high potential outside of those normal spawn times, if you will, and pre-spawn.
I love that. I love that you guys are doing that. I love the fall tournaments. I love the full fields. There's so much that is wonderful about what you're doing, and you can see the anglers really love it. What are you most excited about in the 2022 season?
I think, it's most reflective back and then looking forward. So, and Justin, you'll get a taste of this firsthand next year. So I'm gonna peel the onion back and give you some inside dope that a lot of people don't know happens. So we made the rule because I felt like it was an unenforceable rule. We had no restrictions on anglers watching the live stream throughout the tournament. Because I didn't feel like that was a rule I could really enforce because of social media and clips and all those things, right? So we didn't restrict our anglers in the beginning from watching the live stream. I felt like there were anglers who were absolutely taking advantage of that, and it was affecting the outcome, and it was affecting what our anglers were going to say and do when they did have a camera on the live stream. That he was going to have anglers watching, fast forwarding through the stream until he was on live, and they were going to take that juice and those educational tidbits like our anglers give, they were going to take that and use it against them. They weren't going to do it. So we made a in-season decision to restrict the anglers from watching the live streams. And the reason I'm talking about this, guys, is there will be things that happen throughout 2022 that we are not afraid to make a rapid adjustment on the spot. And we think that being fluid and being flexible as we grow to promote the growth and the level playing field is equally important to anything we're doing. So sometimes we go to the anglers and we ask their opinion. Sometimes we ask them to make the decision. And then sometimes, because I feel like it's in the best interest of the league, the sponsors, and the anglers, I just make the decision and we go on from there. But I'm most excited, Pete, about seeing the field mature because a lot of these guys were way in over their head this year, right? There was a lot of shock value. There was a lot of nerves, man. If you'd have seen guys making just silly mistakes, like they couldn't get their kill switch attached, like because it's all fun and games till I shove an $80,000 camera in your face and tell you to go to work, right? Like and you've got the same guys that film for Bass and MLF and Pro Circuit film for us. They just run the country and that's what they do for a living. And they're pros, man. Like they know more about this gig than a lot of the anglers did. So I'm anxious to see how those anglers who learn from this year take that and apply it to next year. Cause I think the competition level, not just because we're adding JK and Walters and Hack. If you look on the rest of that list, there's a guy from out West named Patrick Toohey. If you say his name on the West Coast, people are going to absolutely know who he is, right? Dustin Williamson, Jason's little brother. He's coming to fish with us, right? Jesse Millsap's son, Logan, who has watched his uncle Randy and now his dad, Jesse, fish, is going to join the NPFL and is fishing with his dad on the tour next year. And man, the Sam Whitmire, the list goes on and on and on. So I'm most excited to see the fishing world be introduced to yet another crop of anglers who are to go out there and perform and at a very high level.
Go ahead, Justin.
I think that's, you said a mouthful with that, Brad, and I think that's the thing that you had going into that. You had a lot of these guys who were locally known. You say their name for 2 or 3 states far and wide, everybody in that fishing world knew their name, and you get a lot of that. And it's, a lot of them are shining bright for you guys this year in 2021. But I got a question. So, last year is kind of the inaugural season, or this year. Next year, you got a new crop of anglers. Is there going to be a Rookie of the Year race? Is that going to be celebrated at all like other leagues, or no?
Hey man,
yes. I love that question. Love that question.
So and it's funny, man. You're the first guy that's ever. We've already talked about it. So and we just been waiting, and it figures you'd be the one to ask.
Well, Pete was a Rookie of the Year award winner there, so I had to ask that because he's the last Rookie of the Year award that didn't get celebrated.
That's right.
There were like 7 dudes fishing when Pete won that.
Well, that's true.
They were all like they were all disciples in the Bible when Pete won Rookie of the Year.
In my defense, it was not BC. It was AD. when I started fishing, but just by a little bit, you know.
The word rookie hadn't been invented yet.
Yeah, everybody's like rookie, like rook was on there, right? So man, we're not going to do a rookie of the year next year. We feel like even with Patrick and Buddy and all those guys, like, you know, we're all rookies, right? Like everyone in the field is a rookie on the NPFL, right? So if you think about it, if you said, hey, new anglers on a 2-year look back, everyone's on a 2-year look back, right?
Yeah.
So we are not doing a rookie of the year. We'll talk about it in year 3 because that would be a different kind of model there, looking at it. But we've talked about it, man, and we're not going to do a rookie of the year. Like Justin, unfortunately, you're going to come out there and you're going to earn your stripes the good old fashioned way with a rod and reel in your hand, man. And look, I don't think you're going to have to worry about rookie of the year, but I will tell you, and I think you'll appreciate this, that whatever you get on the NPFL, you're going to earn.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Hey,
like,
yeah,
I mean, amazing, and it's so much sweeter.
Yeah, coming over, I've got goals, and if there was a Rookie of the Year award, that would not be anywhere written on any goal whatsoever. That's not what I'm coming over for. That's not what anybody else would be coming over for. You know, I see other people do it, and I was just gonna say, you know what, Pete, maybe you could just throw, let's throw a bunch of money over there at NPFL and just make it the Bass University Rookie of the Year award. Just
there you go.
Have a little something else to fish for.
Listen, we don't agree on a lot in the NPFL staff meetings, right? Like clearly, as Paul and I are brothers, we've literally whooped each other's ass a few times this year and then had to hug it out. But what I will tell you is we all like money, Pete. So if you're ready to stroke a check, bro, we'll figure out something to do with it.
Yeah. Hey, Pete asked Brad a good question. What did he look for 2022? And Justin called Carson AOI last year. I remember when he did it, and they brought it up tonight when Keith came on. This is y'all's opportunity to put us to the test. I'm going to go through. Justin, you don't get to participate. You're bottom of the food chain as a rookie. That being said, I want to go from Riz to Stockel to Pete. I want to know what y'all want to see for 2022. I've got my pen. I've got my notes. We pride ourselves on transparency. We'll either tell you we can do it, maybe we can do it, or we won't do it. But I want to know what y'all want to see for 2022 and hold our feet to the fire from an accountability standpoint. If we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it. But Riz, I don't think anybody gives Riz enough love, but he's an absolute hammer for y'all. Great dude, and I never want to catch his left hook for all the money in the world. So what do you want to see for 2022?
One of the things that I think would be cool for 2022 for the National Professional Fishing League would be to maybe do some feature spots on anglers throughout the year to kind of showcase their backgrounds, where they came from, what got them into fishing, because of the professional tours right now, the National Professional Fishing League is the newest professional level tour. So a lot of the guys in the league have not had that kind of exposure, and people don't really know who they are, where they came from, what their background is. So to be able to learn a little bit about the guy that's grinded his way through, gone from John boat to tin rig to bass boat and worked his way up to being able to scratch up enough money to fish professionally. I would personally like to know, where these guys came from, what their backgrounds are, and what got them to the point they're at now.
Done. I can answer without consulting with Brad. I know Brad's going to say, hey, we tried to do it some this year. We're limited by resources to a point, but Riz, you can hold us accountable on that, and we will do it. So how about you? Go ahead.
Hey, real quick. So, and I'm going to dig it just a little bit, Riz. So one thing that we are adding next year that we didn't have this year, we use Tanner and Travis Lyons. I don't know if you guys know those cats or not, from Twin Visuals Media. We have worked out a deal, and they are going to be full-time NPFL next year. So We are very, very excited about that. I think that's breaking news again. I'm trying to make up for the schedule deal, Brian.
It really.
And what that allows us to do is to send them out to Kimmel's house and do lifestyle pieces on him and his family, to Travis Jules' farm, to John. You know what I mean? So, dude, that is absolutely going to happen. You're a genius, and I'm glad I thought of it.
Well,
all right, Stockel, what do you want to see?
Well, this is why Rich's answer was wrong. Was, I always felt that Bass, or whatever organizations at FLW didn't do a good job of exactly what you said, and it left it wide open for podcasts and Ike Live and things like that. So we got that covered.
If you invited NPFL guys like Travis Jewell and Stu Martell and
oh, we get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah. But no, I thought Fat Cat did a great job in studio. Next year, I'd like to see Fat Cat in studio and Shelly Sanders in his spot.
Who?
Shelly Sanders. Done.
Oh, no. Is that? I don't know who that is. Sorry.
It's your loss.
It's an attractive woman that BTC would like to see somewhere in your broadcast.
Everybody would like to see.
I mean, bro, we gave you James Watson. What more do you want? You don't get any sexier than that.
Something
or
else.
Something else.
Something else.
Yeah.
James was awesome, but
he is like a seagull.
Man cannot live on bread alone. Go ahead, Pete. Have fun following that up.
I'm impressed at how efficient you guys were able to come up with answers for that stuff. I thought you guys would both falter, be a lot of airtime pause, but you guys did great answers.
Yeah.
I just want more live. I like when the tournaments are in action. I love it. I honestly, I cannot stop watching it. And I might like to watch live practice or some type of camera with,
Shelly Sanders.
No, but I want to watch I want to watch the fishing action. I'm addicted to it. I love watching it. I don't know if there's if practice is an option or not, but I can't wait till the tournaments start going. I got to tune in. I got to watch it.
It is an option. It is an option. And for 4 easy payments of $10,999, I will make sure that you get some practice days with a camera. So we talk about that every day. How can we expand? How can we add? How can we everything else in relation to live coverage cameras? The guys that run the cameras, they take their job very seriously. We could not have a better production company running our stuff. And the camera guys are very, very serious. They're very, very expensive. We would love to be able to get there, and we will get there. Talk to some of these folks out there about swinging some checks our way. That's where it's going.
I hear you.
I got another one when you're done with that, Pete.
We watch eagles hatch their chicks 24/7. Maybe we can just put a camera in boats and watch guys practice.
We've got the GoPro requirement, and we've got a lot of that GoPro stuff. I think you get back into the comfortableness of a guy to put out his GoPro practice out on our social media site. We'll police it the best that we can. Justin could be the first person to say he's gonna live feed his full practice, from the GoPro, and we'll allow him to do it, and we can add it to our platform. Brad, we can add that to our platform if he provides that feed, right?
Let's put it on.
I was thinking, man, what we could do is, what is the house where they film them 24 hours? Like
Real
24
world?
hours a day.
The first one was Jersey Shore, and I believe Riz is a product of that first season of Jersey Shore.
A product of it.
Wrong part of Jersey, bro.
That was payback for the Jimmy Johns, bro. I had to go.
You know how much shit I got over that, Rich?
What?
You brought him Jimmy John's.
Who did?
You.
I did.
At the Chessie, at the boat ramp. Yeah, they're like, yeah, here's some cheesesteaks at Jimmy John's. He's like,
No, I went to the
Cashin guys?
Philadelphia.
yeah.
I brought them Carmen's, bro.
No. I went to the Philadelphia show. And I said, I want one thing. I want a Philly cheesesteak. And Brad will tell you, we just had a cheesesteak incident at Grand, but Riz shows up with Jimmy John's. I'm like, bro, we got Jimmy John's in Georgia. Come on, man.
I remember this.
Come on, Riz.
No, he's Paul's right. You got to give it to him. I mean, he deserves better. No, but I would like to see, and I mentioned this to Paul the other day. I'd love to see a tournament that started later, where the weigh-ins are 7, 8 o'clock. Summertime, it's late. You got sunlight till 9 o'clock. I'd love to see that after work. You're getting home, you can watch it.
You could do that up north. Plus, those suckers don't bite in the morning, anyways, man. Those weights would go through the roof on some of those smallmouth fisheries.
Yeah, man. Did you guys? I don't know if you guys heard so we did that on Pickwick, right? We pushed our takeoff time back till 8. I think the last flight checked in at 6:30 in the evening.
I remember that. Yep.
So and dude, listen, guys lost their mind in the field. Like, I got death threats, bro.
Yeah.
Cool.
Why?
A bad idea.
They thought they had a morning bite. Pre cutoff practice indicated a morning bite. Brad knew more than they knew. Well, I don't say this disparagingly about the field. Anyone who had a complaint about it, I specifically went to them after the event and said, "Did we know what we were doing?" And they conceded, "Hey, we trust you." It's just a matter of that proving time.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm all about those late day tournaments because, man, fish always bite better as the sun's going down, right? Like that late afternoon bite for sure. Yeah, man, we're down the clown. We're down with that life, as my buddy Fat Cat would say.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck, guys. I mean, best of luck. You guys are crushing it.
Yeah.
You guys are doing so well, and I don't know if our input will help at all, but I'm glad you guys asked for it, and we're happy to give it to you. And we have a lot of other bad ideas that if you guys would like to implement, we'll give those.
Hey, you spend enough time with Paul Benson, bro. Do you know how many bad ideas we've had? A lot. Like we've had. He's like, hey, how about we try this? I'm like, hell no, Paul. You've lost your damn mind. We are not doing that.
I legit wanted a night tournament. I said, there's nothing like a July night tournament in the South. Cut them loose at 8 p.m., fish till 3 a.m. We'll film them with night vision. It was awesome. It was a great idea. Not logistically, though.
But see, I know you guys are wrapping this up, bro, and I do want to take a minute and listen. There was only a couple outlets that even gave us the time of day, right? That when we started this thing, there was only a few people that reached out and wanted to know about what we were doing. And listen, nobody was more skeptical than me and Paul. I promise you, we had no idea, right? We knew we were going to work hard, but we didn't know. I want to thank you, all the guys from Mike Live, everybody involved in your organization and everything going on there at Bash U for at least giving us a chance. And I really appreciate that. And bro, we remember that stuff. Those are I won't forget that. And you guys got a open door policy with us anytime you want. I sincerely appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to continuing a good relationship with you guys for many, many, many years.
Right on, man. I'll take all the credit for that, by the way.
Thank you.
Both shows.
I didn't want to I didn't want to make it too uncomfortable for you.
I want to take a quick moment and run through some names because like I said, we do a lot with a very little, and it starts with Michelle Fuller, keeping us all in line. As Brad said, I go my way, Brad goes his way, Al goes his way. We're all running 1,000,000 miles an hour. She's the glue that pulls us together at the tip of the spear. But from there, we go down to like Brendan Teach, Steve, Sean Mudhole, Mohole, Caps, Andrew Caps, Kyle Morey, Tommy Bench. I know I'm forgetting one or two. Adam Hornberger. We have a lot of dudes who are out there hustling, helping us, helping anglers, doing everything to make sure that we can do this, put on a heck of a show. Our production team out of Appleton, Wisconsin. I think we're allowed to name them now, right, Brad? There's enough social media out there. Fix Productions. They have a dude named Kyle Carpenter. They've got a guy named Zach Visser in Wisconsin that harangues our guys. They've got a guy on site, Kyle Carpenter. And this is where I say, if you show up and see how it's different, you'll see it firsthand. I know I've forgotten somebody, and I'm a complete jerk for doing it. We could not do it with all these people day in and day out helping us. I encourage and invite y'all to come down anytime that you can and see what we got going on, because it is an absolute blast. Fat Cat, Luke, David Dudley, James Watson, every one of them has taken a chance on putting their name and attaching it to our cart. And we truly have a brotherhood of about 140 people, brotherhood and sisterhood, families, everything about it. The outpouring of support in relation to, things that we've seen this year, support from the fans. It is a huge undertaking, and we could not do it without everybody watching the live feed. So that being said, November 11th, 12th, and 13th, make sure that you tune in live at tnpfl.com and check it out at our championship. So
right on.
Awesome.
Yeah. We appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Damn, I'm proud of you, Benson. Holy cow.
You did a great. You guys have done a great job with selecting talent and putting the right people around, and creating great chemistry with that broadcast team. All the guys you said, and the fill-ins, Dudley and Hallman. I just thought it really went good, man. Good job, whoever the talent scout is.
Dude, if you knew how that went down, Brian, you would. Yeah, it goes down about like you think it would be with me and Ben. So I'm like, dude, who do you know? I don't know. Who do you know? Who's dumb enough? Who's dumb enough? Who's dumb enough and crazy enough to come and do this? All right, call him.
It worked, man. It worked really well.
It's fun to watch. We're going to be watching in November, and appreciate you guys coming on and sharing the story with us tonight. Look forward to seeing what happens next. My gosh. And we're all going to be rooting for Rookie of the Year, Justin Kimmel.
That's right.
Justin, if they won't give you the award, we will give you the award.
Brad and Paul, this is something we do at Bass University. Anytime we have a guest on, just send me your shirt size and mailing address. We'll be sending you guys something. I don't think Luke Duncan's show does that, but our guests, they get stuff. So.
Well, I'll make sure. Listen, I don't think Luke's ever going to have me on again after the last time I was on. So if I ever do get on, I'll make sure I wear your Bass U T-shirt.
Love it.
Yes, we would definitely love that.
Luke did a killer
we
job
appreciate you
this
guys hanging out with us, man. It was awesome to learn more, and wish you best of luck in 2022. And we will look forward to seeing what happens. We're going to have you guys back on again, I'm sure.
One more quick question. Do y'all have any, and I may be completely throwing you under the bus, Pete, do y'all have any show dates, or y'all have any on-site classes planned for next year? Because I know you haven't done them last year or this year. Y'all going back in the field next year, any?
Use guys.
Well, you really did throw me under the bus, Paul. I appreciate that.
Again.
But JK, we do have some dates scheduled, and we would like to announce them right now.
Yeah, you can actually get tickets right now. We just actually opened our ticket window. January 15th and 16th, we will be in Gadsden, Alabama, with our friends over there on the banks of Neely Henry. That's our Alabama home. It has been for 3 or 4 years now. And we're excited to get back over there and see a lot of faces that we hadn't seen in 2 years. We missed out seeing those guys last year. And I know that we'll see a lot of the same faces show up with our students, and I can't wait. The following weekend is the other weekend that I can announce right now. And that's January 22nd, 23rd in Anderson, South Carolina, on the shores of Lake Hartwell. Our pal Neil Paul has been bringing us there for the last few years. Helped us out last year when we were having to do things virtually, and we actually shot and filmed some of our seminars in Anderson. And as you know, Lake Hartwell is a future home of Bass U TV production, because our proud Jeff just is in the process of moving his stuff in as we speak this week. I can't wait to be. I used to be 3,000 miles from that guy, and now I'm going to be an hour drive from him. It's going to be awesome.
It's also the future. It's also the future home of one of the upcoming NPFL derbies.
I hope you're right.
That's on the wrong side of the state for him to make the North Carolina mistake. You're looking at the wrong direction there. But Jeff Olson is an unsung hero for y'all.
Yes.
Great dude, loves fishing, is ate up with all of it, and I can't wait. Brad, if Brad's tagged out and limited out with all the stuff he's going to shoot in the face by January 15th, 16th, we'll be at both of those events if we're invited. So
that's awesome. You guys,
open invitation. We'd love to have you guys. Appreciate you guys so much. And we've just got a few things to button up here at Bass University. You guys can hang out with us, but we appreciate you guys being with us and letting us know what's going on with the NPFL. And thank you so much for sharing this time with us, guys.
Appreciate it, fellas. You guys be good. I'm going to bounce. Yes. It's way past my bedtime. And you guys wrap it up, and appreciate y'all, man. You guys be good.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Brad. So what do we got? A Facebook like and share left?
Yeah, and a grand
Rich
prize.
Yep.
What do we got?
And a grand prize. So I'll go ahead and throw the grand prize question out there now, and then we'll go to the Facebook like and share. So tonight's grand prize question for the Bass University Live is: there are 3 baits that Keith would take with him across the country all seasons of the year. What are these 3 baits that Keith named on Bass U Live that he would take with him across the country all seasons of the year? There is 3. I need names for all of them.
His keys
Great
to
question.
AOI.
When we got some dead air here, or I know you got to do the Facebook like and share, but guys, I got an AOY Pro panel that I've got to run through quickly. I can't let this one go. I've let them go before, but not today.
And we have a winner.
What?
Yeah,
that's impossible.
It's very possible. I can't even keep these contained because we don't run a queue on the chat board anymore. Joe Venuto, 2 weeks in a row with the Fritzside 5, the swim jig, and the wind-up worm.
Wow.
Congratulations, Joe V. Absolutely killing it. Dialed into Bass University Live. See that, guys? It pays to watch and be locked in the whole time. You can win some awesome stuff.
It's awesome.
JK, give us a quick one.
So here it was. I made it to be quick. Just randomly, we were having AOY Keith Carson on. You are an AOY yourself. I was like, let's take this. What's the one bait that in your Angler of the Year season weighed in the most fish?
Wow.
For your whole season. They had to make it to the weigh-in. Not catch throughout the year, but they had to make it to the weigh-in. So I reached out to our pal Seth Fighter, and in Seth Fighter fashion, he was like, I can't name one. So I didn't get a great answer there. What that tells me is that there wasn't one that shined above another, right? And it was true when he was on Bassmaster Live, which he wasn't. He was on Bassmaster Live, but a lot, but not every event per se. But once he was in the AOI race, we saw him catch big uns on hair jigs, drop shots. I saw him use the Mega Bass mag draft. Saw him using square bill crankbaits. Saw him catch him on topwater, catching him on a jig, flipping a jig. And the more I thought about it, I was like, man, Seth went crazy versatile. He is crazy versatile. He wasn't using forward-facing sonar. The guy's just got it, man. He's one of those guys. You can't peg him as he's catching him on that again. There's John Cox in that swim jig again. So that's where we pulled it out from that. And I appreciate Seth getting back to me. And truly, I believe him. There probably wasn't one that did. Now, our partner Keith Carson came on the show tonight. He issued those 3 baits. Guess what? One of those 3 baits is not the answer. He weighed in most fish on his flipping bait, the Berkeley Creature Hog. He weighed in more fish on a Berkeley Creature Hog than any other tournament, or not tournament, than any other bait for his whole season. Now we're going to the BFL ranks.
How's the action on that bait, the Creature Hog?
It's more like a beaver style.
Yeah, it's a beaver.
It's a beaver style
Does it
action.
do you get the kick?
You can get a subtle kick. I want to say if you remove those appendages above the longer ones, like the shorter one,
you'll get more.
You get more. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then you
So
put those
all you do
appendages
is
on a
take
hook,
those 2 ones
on a
out.
bobber in the back, and catch sunfish. Because it is max scent.
It is max scent. So now I'm going to the BFL ranks. Okay, James Watson, Ozark region winner. Okay, he was the Ozark region BFL Angler of the Year. He caught more fish on a Tackle HD buzzbait, the worldwide buzzer. He went buzzbait this year, which caught me off guard. I mean, it's right up his alley, but man, he just had tournaments line up for him, and that buzzbait was the deal for him this year. Pretty cool. My region, I reached out to the winner of my region, who he finished 2nd place to me at one of our home lakes, Oconee, but he snuck out well, not snuck out. He won Angler of the Year emphatically in a tough Bulldog division, and he deserved it. Had a great season. His name's John Duval. He's a great angler. He caught more fish on a swim jig than anything else that for fish that hit the scales. So George boys, swim jig was the way to go this year. He did it with a swim jig. Won AOY, had a strong season, and we finished with our favorite AOY of the year, Pete Glusek, and everybody said
Black Senko.
There you go.
5-inch. And I was on Travis Manson's stream last night, and the question came to him if he could only have one bait, one rod, one bait forever for the entire year, and he said a 4-inch Black Senko.
Wow.
Yeah.
I will never go to a tournament, and this year really stuck at home. I will never launch my boat for a tournament ever again and not have a Dean's rig ready to go at all times.
Wow.
4 seasons.
That's pretty efficient. Yep.
That's something.
Well,
Four
well
seasons?
I look back at it,
Because I'll
and
just
I
trim
think
it down if it's cold. Make it small.
My first tournament was nothing to do with the Senko. It was chatterbait. The second tournament was everything, but it was green weenie.
Okay.
Laminate. Right. Dean's
Back when I
rig.
still ate that.
Dean's rig was the deal. The third tournament was that Lake Champlain? I think it was. And I was throwing a Black Senko, but I was throwing it with a 1/2 ounce and a 3/4 ounce peg sinker. And I was flipping and pitching, and nothing to do with the weightless thing. It was just flipping and pitching. It was the best tool for the job. And when I went to Cayuga, it was weightless. No Dean's rig, just weightless. And I was fishing in 6 to 12 inches of water, as shallow as I could get it. I needed weightless to be able to skip it deep.
Black? Was it black?
It was black.
Oh, that's 10 fish right there.
Yeah. And what's the last tournament of the season?
St. Lawrence.
Oh, St. Lawrence.
Better
Oh my
bait.
gosh. That was almost a bust for me. And I saved it with a Terminator spinner rig.
Yep.
So
Really versatile season, Pete. Some power fishing. And honestly, you were power fishing with that Senko, except for you were power fishing Senko at Champlain. Yeah.
I power fish that Senko nonstop. People don't, like the Dean's rig seems like that's not slow. That's extremely efficient and, working that bait through the habitat. So, but it is what it is, man.
It's a spinning rod.
It's a spinning rod.
Yeah.
A power spinning rod.
This was the year of keeping it simple and adding practice to your tournament.
Huh. 2 things I didn't do this year.
And you
Nailed it.
You crushed it with that. You know?
Yeah.
You really did.
Well, I had a little bit of practice, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I would have never fished the BFLs if you didn't inspire me to do that, JK, or Riz too, by winning the 2-day BFL. That was a great win, and it's great stuff. I had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the Potomac River in next week. Man, it's a great tournament. Lines up to my abilities, and we got a very, very tough fishery. Looking forward to it.
You and that river get along great. I'm excited to see, what happens when you go back there. Riz, what are you gonna do, man? Are you gonna fish some more BFLs, or what are you gonna do
for next year?
Yeah,
we're looking at trying to do the whole BFL schedule. Gonna reach out to some people, try and get a little bit of financial support to be able to make it all happen. That was the biggest thing for me this year, was that I had a stinker in the first BFL and then grabbed the 4th place in the second BFL and kind of got myself back to even money, and then just couldn't really bring myself to swing it, to run north without the would have put me in a tough spot as far as the money goes. But I got a few things in mind for next year to try and get some support from some people in that avenue. So we'll
Locks of Love.
Yeah.
Selling hair. Maybe blood.
There we go, guys. Somebody come up and pony up for Riz and the BFLs next year.
Yeah.
Come on.
See what we can make happen.
Cool, man. I'd love to see you fish the whole deal. I think you'd no doubt qualify for that regional and be in the mix for sure.
Well, we got the first 2 at the Potomac River next year, early spring. Riz.
Both at the
I like
Potomac?
it better when it was on the Chesapeake.
They're both at the Potomac. You already saw the schedule?
Oh, it's out. Yeah, the first 2 are on the Potomac.
No kidding.
Then where do they go?
Similar stuff. They go to Thousand Islands. Well, they announced it verbally at the last 2-day tournament, and then you go to Thousand Islands in June and July. The 2-day tournament is on Cayuga. I don't know what
August.
the month is there, and I've lost track of the last tournament. I don't remember where that is.
Yeah. Okay.
So no Chessie.
No Chessie.
Huh. Maybe I'll just come down there with you, Justin, and just jump in a division and fish a bunch of lakes I've never been to.
Or come fish the Savannah River division or the Bulldogs.
That's what I'm saying. Just go fish a bunch of lakes. That's as fun to me as anything anymore, is going to fish new lakes.
New water.
Me too.
Or you could save your money, and I don't know. There's nothing in stone, and you didn't hear anything here, but there may be a Bassmaster Open that comes very, very close to home.
That's what I've heard.
Next year. Who knows?
We'll have to wait and see the schedule.
Yeah. Let's wait and see. Do you have a Facebook like and share winner?
Yes, I do. Tonight's Facebook like and share winner of the Bass University Live podcast is veteran Chris Lindahl. Chris Lindahl, thank you for your service first and foremost, and also thank you for supporting the Bass University Live show.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I just happen to have a square bill PT Fat 3 Rapala. I just thought I'd show it because it looks freaking awesome. This might play on the Potomac next week.
Whoa, he's giving out his juice.
We shall see. Looks good. Looks like a shad. Looks like what's going on. Hey, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, BTC, Riz, JK. It's been awesome. Appreciate you guys, and we're going to be back next week. BTC, we got to talk. Because I'm going to be on the Potomac.
Yeah, what a
next
great week
Tuesday.
to take off.
Well, we could certainly take a week off. I'm going to be.
I could use a break. Let's talk about maybe skipping a week.
We really
what do you
do
guys
this on the air?
Should we skip a week or should we suffer and
gosh,
continue
why are we doing this on the
to
air?
bring the best broadcast in the history of the world? You guys let us know.
Yeah. All right, good night.
You guys let us. All right, but we'll keep you guys posted. JK, congratulations on the NPFL. Wish you best of luck.
Thank you, man.
Yes.
It's awesome, dude.
Couldn't have gotten here without you guys. And I'm serious.
Hey. Well, we'll be pulling for you next year for sure.
Thank you.
And guys, thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't subscribed, go over to bashu.tv. It's $35 for 3 months.
What?
Plus, we give you a Tackle Warehouse coupon for $25. It's ridiculous. Get yourself signed up.
Yeah.
Make yourself become a better angler.
Yeah. You're a loser.
Yeah, it's all right there.
Yeah.
It's all right there for you. Hey, thanks everybody for watching. I'm Pete Gluzak for Bass University TV. We will see you guys next week, maybe, or the week after.
We'll talk
see you
about
soon.
it.
Good night, everybody.
It's Mike Iaconelli. This is Bass U TV.
Here's what's awesome about Bass U TV.
You get the top instructors.
You will learn things at Bass U that you will learn nowhere else.
And we help you build confidence with new techniques. We take the mystery and the myths out of bass fishing.
Real tools that help you catch more fish consistently.
At Bass U TV, shoes are optional.
And I like turtles.
We teach you to enjoy bass fishing.
And that's why you want to check out Bass U TV.
Join the Bass U family.
Welcome to Bass U TV.